Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/culturalstew. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Please listen carefully.
Welcome to the Cultural Stew Podcast, coming to you from the Goat Factory Media Entertainment Studios. We are your cultural media recommendation podcast, giving you our take on what we think is worth carving your time out for, and also what we think you can pass on and maybe go cut that lawn instead. Warning, we use adult language, and there may be spoilers ahead. Hello and welcome to the Cultural Stew Podcast. My name is Ron Herkins Jr. and welcome to episode 17 for the week of July 30th, 2018. I am here with my co-hosts,
Tony Carter
and Valerie Vidmar.
Hello and welcome.
I'm planning on using adult language and giving spoilers.
Okay.
I was being funny because I was listening to our little intro there.
The intro that we've had for 17 shows now.
Beware.
Yes. Occasionally we swear like sailors and spoil like children. Wait, no, that doesn't work.
Spoil children and...
Are you kidding me? Sorry, I just found something else.
He's always finding things.
What were you up to this week, Tony?
Baby wrangling, bonding with my newborn son, a lot of writing in between that. So... But yeah, I mean, a lot of good writing, a lot of research for my novels. I'm going to be writing soon, and just yeah.
Your novel about
many things.
Do you not want to talk about?
I can go that way. So I'm writing one novel is about a podcast in Detroit called Motor City Live. I'm calling that right now, and it's about a group of
vroom. Welcome to Motor City Live. This is Chuck.
It's
oh my god.
It's about three people who come together. About their love of cars in Detroit, and they talk about more than cars, about the economy of Detroit and how it makes them feel and what they're going to do about it. So it's kind of a mirror to life kind of situation. So I'm kind of taking inspiration from our podcast and bringing it to you about cars. So I'm learning about cars and the auto industry history and that kind of fun stuff. So
you need to call up what's his bucket?
What's his bucket?
Director Flint, Michigan Flint. Come on, guys.
You mean...
He is...
Michael Moore?
Thank you. He'd be interested in that project.
It's just a novel right now, and it's fiction.
I know, but just wait.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, I love researching because it makes me a pseudo-expert on what I'm researching. So I know a lot about American history because I had a character who was a professor. So in that way, you kind of have to grab facts on a whim. You can't be looking in your book for history notes when you should be able to keep writing and flowing. So I try to become an expert on everything I'm writing about. So I don't do
beforehand, you mean?
Beforehand, yeah.
Well, that old adage, right? You know. So.
Right.
And you know so much.
Yeah. It needs to leak out a little, but it won't.
That's okay.
And
that's called brain fluid?
Your head.
You might need to see a surgeon.
Yeah, it is getting bigger.
And my boy, Sebastian, is 1 month.
Oh.
So, yeah, a lot of fussiness. His sister Marnie was a lot easier. He's probably going to hate me when he hears this in the future, but Marnie was a lot easier to handle. Then he sounds like a bullfrog, so whenever he's grunting in the middle of the night, we call him bullfrogs awake. So it's just, you hear, and it's like, okay.
Is he in another room?
No, he's in our room
okay.
Until he's 6 months. So, and it's just a little much. Just a little much. And his sister the other day learned how to jump out of her crib or crawl out of her crib.
Sweet.
I remember that. We have a video of that.
Escape artist.
So I was downstairs editing in the basement, and Grace was outside gardening, and they were all asleep, and we just hear, uh-oh, and then she's downstairs, and Grace is like, did you let her downstairs? And I'm like, no. And yeah, baffling. So the dog was kind of barking. We didn't know why. We said, oh, well, you were telling us your sister was out of her crib and coming downstairs. So
we took
unexpected human.
we took both girls back down, put them in, and said, okay, climb out. Let's see how you did it. And they filmed it. And yeah.
I don't want to encourage it. We just said, don't do that ever again. It's not safe. Please don't. And we're going to be undoing our bed and lowering it another notch.
Going back to Incredibles 2, the scene where Jack kept getting out of the crib. And he ended up putting like everything that he could on top of the crib so that he couldn't get out. And he didn't realize that Jack had power, so he just kept getting out. I was just like, this is fun.
I think Jason and I were more of a, if you're going to try to do it, let's try to do it safely. And then I don't know what we did after they started doing that. It was kind of like, okay, if you're going to do it safely, then
we moved him to a bed pretty quick after they started doing the crib thing.
Do that.
So we dropped all the way down, and then when they can do that,
I don't know how she got out without us hearing it. I mean, it's like a ninja. Like just you hear like a.
It's amazing.
She throws her bottle out of her crib every night. Like, oh, I'm done. Toss, dump, and like, oh, she guess she's done drinking her water. But we didn't hear a sound, and I have good hearing. But I just hear bark, 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 bark. I'm like, you're barking at a cat. You have a cat too. Like, what are you barking at? And then,
Do you have a camera?
We didn't set it up because we didn't think we had to. Because she just stomps on the wall when she's ready to get up, and yeah. So, but I guess we will. And
you should have seen what Jason rigged up. Because they didn't have like these fancy cameras. Like our crib wasn't made for so he rigged this up with, I can't even tell you. I know there was wood involved and like, and then he had things above it. It looked insane, but it worked.
I think the reason why we stopped
just how he likes to do
because
things.
Marnie creeped us out. When she was, young, she would just, we had the camera on in the night and you see her eyes and her staring at the camera, like just looking at us. I'm like, oh, you're looking at us. We're looking at you. And it's like, okay.
Demon baby.
Yeah.
You get like the reflective eyes in the infrared and it's just standing there.
We didn't have the one where you could look back at them.
Oh.
Or talk to them or anything.
We just had the camera. It was creepy. I'm like, I'm not. Okay, you're fine. I'm going to go to bed now. Thanks for that. It's a little scare. So that's the news with me. I've been writing and researching and baby watching and it's fun. I enjoy it. It's going to be a good ride. So
cool.
20 more years.
I went out and covered some photography out at Kega Trails 50 last weekend, and then this weekend we went down to the Cooperstown Hall of Fame.
Cool.
For induction weekend. We didn't stay both days, which we have in the past, which we wish we did, but we just didn't have time to fit it all in.
Did you miss Bob?
Did I miss Bob?
I think, was it Bob Costas who was inducted? There. Oh, you saw him? Did you click?
Well, we saw him in the parade.
Oh.
So we stayed through, on Saturday night at 6 o'clock, they have the Parade of Legends. So everybody who came in town, Hall of Fame people, and all the new inductees all go on a parade. And it's really cool. So you get to see everybody. So yeah, we didn't want to go in and see the actual induction of Costas because it was so close to the parade that by the time you got out of there and then try to get a spot back, you would lose your key spot.
Interesting fact, because when I was watching League of Their Own, Kendra has been to Cooperstown and she watched the movie. At the end, they have this huge
the Cooperstown unveiling
area of the women, and she was looking forward to that and couldn't wait. And then she said it was just like this tiny little spot.
It's about the size of my studio area out here.
That she was looking for something major.
Well, it compared to the rest of baseball history, it's a very tiny slice of history. I mean, they do it justice. It's nice how they have it set up there.
Maybe it's been added onto. I don't know.
It's always been pretty small, but it's moved locations several times.
Oh, okay. Well, that could be that it was moving locations.
How about you? What have you been up to?
I wrote. Can you believe it?
A word? 2 words?
Sentence?
No, I wrote 2 or 3. I wrote 3 essays.
How'd it feel?
It felt good when I got onto the right stuff. It was interesting because, I was writing, and then I was going back and looking at my old writings to kind of, I don't know. It's almost like you have to go back and read what you wrote to get your voice back, or to like, what was my voice? What did it sound like? And there are things that I don't have a clue. I don't even remember writing at all. Like, I just have no. And they're like, that's pretty good. I don't remember writing that. But this class that I'm taking at Writers and Books, the Hermit Crab essay is really helping. So that's awesome. So I got 3 things popped out for that, and then I also wrote a bio. I wrote a bio. Jason was just like, that would have taken me all weekend. I just thought that was funny. Anyway, but just a short bio of myself because my friend Ronna Miller, who is an authoress, is publishing one of my poems about ADHD. So she needed a bio. So I got that done. And then we had Hogwarts camp, which was kind of exciting because of all the different things and all the different courses you could take. Zoe, my 8-year-old, was the most interested in the Daily Prophet, which is the newspaper that comes out daily, I believe, in the movie. Well, it comes out daily there, and you can write for it. And the first day she missed it because she didn't quite understand what was going on. And then every day she was in there. She would get up in the morning. The girl gets up at 6 o'clock, 6:15 every morning. She's upstairs writing. So she had a story in there on Tuesday, 2 stories on Wednesday, a story on Thursday, and a story on Friday. She made every single one. So she even wrote a thank you note and said, "You don't have to publish this. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody." Blah, blah. They published it. So, yeah, if you have a little one.
Where is this?
That's at Writers and Books.
Oh.
They did a fantastic job, so it was really cool. And she's doing another one, doing wizarding at another camp this week. So she's...
I have a stupid question. What do you call fans of Harry Potter? Are they potheads or Potterheads?
Potterheads. It's interesting because she did some silly little thing. And she, you know how they do, what house are you in? But it wasn't Pottermore. Pottermore.com is the actual one you're supposed to go to. That's the actual J.K. Rowling site. And she didn't do that. So she was, I know this means nothing to you, she was Hufflepuff before, but when she took the test today, the real test, she was Gryffindor. When I took the real test, I was Hufflepuff. It was kind of interesting. But I know that you're looking at me like dazed, confused, but...
No, I know about the houses. It's just not one of those things that...
I know. There's a lot of people that just are like,
But it doesn't seem like people look at me like that. And when I talk
so you guys go by houses,
movies.
not about... So I mean, like rent fans are called rent heads. You guys don't have a nickname for yourselves? Like
Potterheads.
Oh, it's Potterheads? Okay.
They're Potterheads. I'm not a Potterhead. My sister and Kendra and Zoe are.
Okay.
I probably will be eventually. I'm just not there yet because I'm thinking about too many other things.
Right. Makes sense.
So, yeah. I never got into... I mean, gosh. I don't know if I got into J.K. Rowling. I never did. Like, I never really got into those books like my friends did. I was reading Stephen King still and trying to read dark. I was trying to be really dark. I was trying to read Clive Barker, and I couldn't get it. Just could not get into it. Except Clive Barker wrote Cabal, right? I think he did.
Not sure.
I like Cabal, but trying to read all these dark, all the what's her bucket? Interview with a Vampire, and her name. Oh my gosh! I even saw her house in New Orleans, and I have the brain of nothing. Anyway, so blah blah blah. That's kind of what I did. I haven't really done much except take kids to camp and bring them home.
It's the life of a mother during summer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And watching
kids first, everything else you want to do last.
That's right. Except I just don't, that's not the way it was before. When I was a kid, I just fit into what my parents wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I tried to do with my kids lately. It's just like, hey, you're doing what we're doing, but they're old enough now that they're doing camp stuff all the time by themselves. So
they're growing. We're going to put them both in school, so
yeah, you'll
have to deal with
just over a month and school starts up again. So
then you're going to have to deal with me.
Put you in school?
No, and you're going to have so much energy.
No, getting a job. I don't know. Anyway.
All right. Well, that is our start of our show. We're going to roll into our news we care about. Recommendations of the week coming up. We've got, Mission Impossible Fallout. It looks like a couple of us have seen that this week. And also Won't You Be My Neighbor and Masterminds. And then for our director series continuing, we're going to talk about Wes Anderson, his films, and I Love Dogs. So first up in the news. I'm getting hand signals here.
I'm actually wondering who's up for next week.
Oh,
The next week.
I think it's me.
Do rock, paper, scissors for it. It's one of you two.
Is it you?
I think it's me, yeah.
Okay, because I have one if you don't have one.
All right. Well, into the news. This last couple weeks has been a ton of news and a couple big whammies that we'll save to the end to talk about because this might go on forever. So if you're at home, make up some popcorn and sit back and relax because this might get interesting. So first thing down the line, we got...
Cue this up for a really long drive. Anyway,
we're hoping to come in under 2 hours for this one.
We'll be fine. We'll be good. We'll do it.
All right. So up first, Lin-Manuel is directing Tick, Tick, Boom, the movie adaptation with the writer of Dear Evan Hansen.
I don't know what Tick Tick Boom is.
Tick, Tick, Boom is Larson's from Rent.
Yes.
What the heck is his first name? Jonathan Larson from Rent. He was the writer of it.
Okay.
And before Rent, he would kind of go around and do like a one-man cabaret type thing and tell stories and songs. And they were all little pieces and clips of it. And it kind of told the story of his life and his creation of bringing basically at the end of it Rent to stage.
Okay.
After he passed, the famous passed at the opening of Rent, they took these little things that he had made and all these pieces of musical and put them into a full-on musical called Tick, Tick, Boom. It basically it's a 3-person musical, 2 men, 1 woman, and they basically tell the story of Jonathan Larson leading up to
Pre-Rent.
Can you explain Tick, Tick, Boom?
It's
the title? Or
he's turning 30 in the story. So in the musical, he's turning 30. So
he's basically at the crisis moment of his life of like, he hasn't made it in Broadway, but he's been putting his energy out there and his friends that he's grown up with and the friends that he meets in New York City. And
cool.
Just kind of like, where is he going?
Kendra was not thrilled. Like she was kind of wondering about it. But
I think it's great because Lynn was one of the main characters on Tick, Tick, Boom when it was on Broadway.
I hope that
it's somebody who actually will respect the work and do it well. And they're very creative, and I think they'll do a great job for it. They'll do it justice. They won't be like a no-name Hollywood person coming in and trying to do something with it that it might not work out well.
What are you doing over there?
He's being critical.
I'm not a fan of Rent the movie. Chris Columbus should have left it alone.
You like it shouldn't have been made, or it should have been
made by someone else.
Who would you have rather made it?
Not him.
Well, it's a circumstance of the time.
Right.
Musicals were not very hip
at
the time, and it takes a big name director to push something like that through.
Right. He just did edits.
That's why Angels of America didn't end up in theaters. It ended up on HBO.
Right.
True.
There's a certain borderline of how things are going to get made.
I looked into tickets for
Angels.
Holy cow. I looked into tickets for a lot of traveling Broadway shows lately, people, and If I Were a Rich Man.
Yeah.
A lot of them come here to Rochester.
I know, but they're so expensive. Yeah, it's crazy.
Unless it's something I haven't seen and I'm very, very wanting to see it,
I'm not going to be able to take her, meaning Zoe, to Hamilton. I'm not.
Oh no, you're not. That's not going to happen. They still have a lottery, but you might as well just.
I mean, when I told her this, she started crying. So that's not good. And then I said, actually, it's less expensive to go to Broadway right now and see it than it is to see the traveling show. Probably because of.
And you also have the opportunity with the one in New York City. If you plan out like going down there for a couple days, you just put yourself in for the Ham for Ham lottery every day. You never know if you get in. You get really great seats, and good discount.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish they would find a way to make it more accessible, but
Did you see?
Go ahead.
Wait, somebody did. Did somebody see Dogfight? We really wanted to get to see it.
I saw Dogfight at the JCC. Yes.
Okay, we wanted to get to see it, but we didn't get to see it that one. So hopefully the next show that's out, we'll be able to get to.
I'll send you a heads up notice on that. Their seasons and things like that. But
cool.
Up next, I'm going to skip the next one and move down to the next one before we go back to the next one.
Okay.
Are you talking about?
We're going to go to the Buffy reboot.
I don't know if I still. I mean,
are we talking about in film?
What?
Are we talking about TV?
Talking about a TV show.
It was announced that Buffy is coming back as a reboot.
Right.
And then the director clarified it a couple days, or the showrunner clarified it a couple days later that it is not going to be a reboot. It's actually going to be a sequel set 20 years later. So
nice cover, but
which
I mean,
it'll have ties that it can pull into the past and then tell new stories. It's not going to be drawn
same
off
people.
Of,
same creative, same showrunner, same creator, and Joss Whedon's behind it since he created it. I think he's going to bring some of the new writers and some old. I know that some on Twitter have been talking about it, that they want to be in. Most of them say we're beyond that now. We want to do something else. So, but I mean, it's going to be fine. It just, when they say there's going to be a reboot, I'm like, we don't need a reboot of the series, please. And then they did the sequel and spinoff, and I was happy. It's just, there's nothing new.
Think about it this way. Think of it as a next generation of Star Trek.
Right. That's the way to think about it.
It's the lineage is there, and now they're just extending on it.
Right. What's her name's book? She's going to be in it.
Sarah? No.
I don't think there's been any confirmed casting yet.
No.
So
Sarah may make a cameo or two, but I don't think she's going to actually be in it. So
okay.
Maybe it'll be her daughter.
Yeah. So they don't know what they're doing.
But they said a whole new vampire slayer. So
it should be exciting. And just, I'm kind of like, okay, we'll see what happens. So.
All right. Comic-Con came out. There was very little news that came out of Comic-Con, but there were a ton of trailers.
Tons.
So what are some of the trailers that stuck out to you two? I've got a bunch of them that...
Shazam looked like fun. I don't know why. I mean, I see DC becoming less dark, more light. So I guess seeing the Shazam trailer and seeing Zach Levy.
I never really read Shazam as a comic, but I love Zach Levy as a character. I've loved Chuck. It was one of my favorite shows that was ever on TV. I still think Yvonne Strahovski should have been Captain Marvel. But I think Zach...
He plays it well.
What the character's supposed to be, I think it's funny. And the biggest thing is everyone was on him about his super suit. Well, he actually posted photos of him without it, and he's actually bulked up huge.
He is.
And they just kind of gave the suit a little bit of a bulky thing, and they're just like, hey, it's a kid's idea of what a superhero is. It's not supposed to be realistic.
Right.
So I'm excited for it. I'm still hesitant because it's DC.
Well, like I was saying, DC's not doing dark anymore. I'm seeing the Zack Snyder thing is going away. Like Shazam is funny, kind of cute. Aquaman's kind of light, not dark, but it has some light moments, which is great.
I don't mind dark if you have a good story.
Right. And they haven't had any.
I want to see Aquaman in IMAX. That is going to be gorgeous. That's the only thing I noticed about that movie. I'm sorry.
I had some
just looked gorgeous.
issues with some of the CGI during the trailer that I'm hoping gets fixed.
I didn't see anything. But you're an image person.
And it was more of like something looked really wonky, but it was like a split second thing. So I'm like, I'm hoping they fix it. It was just caught my eye at the wrong.
That's what we pick up on.
If you're going to put that much money into it.
I was thinking of something else.
Oh.
That was not a rolling of eyes at you, but I was rolling my eyes at the fact that last week, I believe all of us, were making fun of that shark movie.
Meg.
Yeah, Meg. Yeah. That, what's his bucket's in?
Statham.
Thank you, Statham. Sorry, what's a bucket? That's my thing. I'm sorry.
I can usually reach down in the bucket and grab it out.
Thank you. And Jason was flipping out over it. Just thought it looked awesome. Oh my gosh, that looks awesome. Anything Jason Statham's in is going to be awesome. And I said, you obviously are not listening to our podcast because we were just making fun of that whole thing.
That is awesome. I'll watch it on a rainy day.
Oh my gosh.
Just for the hell of it to see how bad it is.
Sharknado.
Jason can't wait. He can go by himself.
Some other stuff that came out. The Bohemian Rhapsody 2 trailer came out.
Grace wants to see that.
I
bad.
really liked the second trailer.
I liked the second trailer as well.
gave you a little bit more of Rami's interpretation of him, and I thought it was good. And
side note. So my son, Sebastian, only sleeps now under pressure. Like, get him to calm down.
No way.
No, really. Like, there's actually, like, he's yelling and screaming, and then under pressure, that starts playing, and he goes, and he just drops. I have pictures of him falling asleep with Queen in the background, like the Montreal concert specifically. So he's...
I had my
That's cool.
first daughter. The only way we can get her to sleep is I basically had to wrap her up, play Edwin McCain, and dance her around the room. And I could, like, get her to sleep in 5 minutes. Gone. Dead sleep. I was like, ugh.
These little tricks. Wow. We should have like a little podcast party so you can go hear Rhapsody. It'll be fun.
That's funny.
So a couple of the trailers I saw.
Robin, yeah.
Let's see. Still going through Comic-Con. Glass came out.
I saw that one.
I have to see that movie now. I mean, I get what you see. You were saying before that sometimes trailers show too much, and I think that trailer showed too much.
I would agree.
Like, way too much.
I felt like I'd seen the movie.
Yes.
Glass?
Yes.
I watched it one time. I said, wow, I've just seen every key point fight sequence.
Like, what is the point of seeing this movie?
I'm still going to watch it.
It'll be interesting to see what they do.
Right.
I mean, it is M. Night, so, like, be prepared for anything.
Right.
Maybe he meant for that to happen.
He could be just giving you a whole hell of a lot.
It still looks good.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see where he's going to go with it.
Sarah Paulson's in it. I'm excited.
I like her.
So her and Bobby are my favorites. But
yeah. Robin Hood. I kind of think it looks interesting. I'm kind of confused.
I like Taron Egerton. He was in.
Wasn't he King?
He was in Kingsman.
Yes, that was good.
So his fighting is top notch. He knows how to fight and do well. And I mean, that's a key thing to Robin Hood, is to be able to do that.
He has good facial expressions. He has a good face.
Yeah.
I mean,
and for some reason, every time I keep seeing Jamie Foxx, I keep going to Morgan Freeman. Because I'm like, I want Morgan Freeman in this.
I know. But he's not going to be.
But it's not the same character. But it's sort of the same character. He's the inspiration wise guy who teaches him.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'll see it. I mean, there's definitely not gonna go see it. Godzilla King of Monsters. The follow up.
Wish I would have seen this trailer and I didn't.
It's got Millie Bobby Brown. Is that how you say it? From Stranger Things.
Okay.
She's in it.
Millie Bobby Brown. Which one is she?
She's 9 in Stranger Things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, people. I love Godzilla.
You didn't watch the trailer?
Godzilla. No, because I didn't see it.
It previews all the monsters from the Godzilla universe. So you see Mothra, and then the closing shot is of the two. I can't remember the name of it. It's the two-headed dragon.
I wasn't on the computer much this week.
Did you like the Matthew Broderick?
No.
Okay, just checking.
The coolest thing, though, this is part of why I go to opening previews, is because sometimes the coolest shit happens at opening previews. I went to the opening preview of Godzilla when that one came out, the Matthew Broderick one, and they were handing out cut stills from the film, and I still have it. It's somewhere in the house. It's a strip about this long, encased in a case, and it was a strip from the film.
That's cool.
And they were handing them out.
Probably because I could
for opening night.
When I saw the last Godzilla, TBS, I am swearing this, TBS used to air these Godzilla movies they were black and white, and it must have been 1980 or 1979, because I was in daycare and I was supposed to be going to sleep, but I would get up and go downstairs and watch Godzilla, and I could still hear the noise Godzilla made, right, in these movies, and they nailed it.
Oh yeah, and they waited right till the end.
Nailed it.
Did
the way they did Godzilla's roar, or whatever you want to call it, but I loved that movie.
It'll be interesting. I'm excited to see it, and I'm hoping the next one after this is Kong vs. Godzilla, because this is what they've been leading up to.
Who's bigger?
Who's bigger? Godzilla is bigger, but
Kong keeps getting bigger.
Kong hasn't finished growing.
I know. He keeps getting bigger and bigger. But yeah.
And especially, I'm more excited now after seeing Kong Skull Island, because I'm like, yeah, Kong's badass. This could be really fun.
On a totally opposite spectrum. Christopher Robin is coming out on Friday. Now listen, people, I have little kids and I need something to do with them, and Mom always takes them to movies. So this is our thing. And
my throat's hurting right now. I would have done the Winnie the Pooh response to you.
Can you do that?
I can, but my throat is so sore. Right
Seriously?
now.
You can talk like Winnie the Pooh?
It takes me a little bit, but yeah.
Okay, I've got to hear it later.
I was doing it because I went and saw when we saw Fallout, there was a preview for it beforehand with Pooh on the chair, and I was mocking it. Do it to my daughter.
It's amazing. So you Ewan McGregor's in it, who, I kind of dig.
The one and only Obi-Wan.
The only thing I can think of is that Pooh sounds great. Pooh and Tigger, I don't know if
I'm pretty sure that they used the same cast that did the animated series.
Except I don't think Eeyore is. Eeyore did not sound good. I mean, Pooh and Tigger, well, I can't do that, right? Mm-hmm. The laugh, don't laugh. That sounded good. Like, that's all the sound clip. But they had Pooh talking for the most of the time because he sounded really great. And the other ones, I am really not sure about. So that really bothers me, especially when I watch like the new Peanuts stuff. I have a really hard time watching it. Yeah. But anyway, that looks really cute.
Nobody's going. Wah, 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 wah,
no,
wah,
I
wah.
like. I'm very audio, and I like having the same. Yeah. I'll skip that for the bad news because I have bad news. Stranger Things 3 is not coming out until summer of 2019. Now my bad news.
No, we're not there yet.
No, okay.
We still got trailers to go through.
Mary, Queen of Scots.
No. Oh, okay. Well.
Oh, you're saying Terminator 6 is bad news?
Yeah, I thought it was ridiculous, and Arnold Schwarzenegger never needs to be on the screen again. And then Indecent Proposal, the remake. Do we really need a remake? The first one was bad. I just don't understand. You liked it? I don't understand why.
I don't understand why you do anything. I just stopped asking. I just roll with it now because they want to make money and
they want to remake movies
that they have a fan base based off of to make more money.
Can you imagine the fan base of Indecent Proposal?
Yes.
Who are they going to have? Who are they going to have? I mean, come on.
No comment. No, I'm not going though. But
go ahead.
Mary, Queen of Scots. I'm a history buff, so this is exciting.
Kendra says it looked fantastic.
So
Kendra and my niece who's living with me.
Margot
Robbie.
Yes, thank you. Margot is what I always pictured Queen Elizabeth looking like without the I'm sorry, she brought back flashbacks of Killer Clown syndrome, but that's not a real thing. But her makeup is so authentic, and so there are in history there are moments where they say people saw the Queen without her makeup, or seeing her aged, or seeing her just her face. It's like the Mad Queen, but just she's not mad. It's just the way her makeup makes her look and just her expression in her face. Margot is embodying the Queen, and everyone thinks the Queen was all great and Queen Elizabeth was so fantastic and saintly, but people really know that she wasn't, and she had motives. And I'm so excited, but I'm also scared because of how intense this looks.
Who does she play opposite of?
Saoirse Ronan, I think her name is.
The one from Lady Bird?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's going to be a tense, fun ride, and I'm going to look forward to seeing it.
Where is that coming?
I don't have a date.
No, where?
Where?
Is it on?
I think it's movies. Is it a Netflix thing or is it?
I thought it was a series.
No, it's a movie.
Was it?
It's a movie. I will be watching it. It's like the Tudors, but female oriented, and not a TV series, but a movie.
But speaking of a TV series, something I know I'm excited for because I'm a geek. Something you're excited for.
Can you guess, Valerie?
I don't know if Valerie's ever watched an episode.
I'm trying to find your Mary Queen of Scots, but I'll move on from it. Sorry.
Season 11 trailer for Doctor Who came out this week. So if you have not seen it, get your butt over and go see it.
I would really. I used to watch it when I was little.
What happened?
You haven't watched any of the new stuff?
No.
Okay. You need to start from the 2006
I would rather wear that than.
Huh?
I would. That's something I could probably jump into.
Yeah, the first season you got Christopher Eccleston in the first season, and then it jumps to David Tennant.
Did you watch the first stuff like in the 80s? Because that was
I tried to watch a little bit, and it wasn't there for me.
Confusing.
The new stuff has a storyline.
Okay.
Better writing.
Each episode is contained, but then there's a nice big arc over everything.
Like Buffy. But
So you got David Tennant, and then you got Matt Smith. And
there's so much stuff everywhere.
And the biggest thing is with season 11, Jodie Whittaker is taking over as the Doctor. Did you ever see Broadchurch?
Broadchurch?
Oh, tell me you have seen
No,
Broadchurch.
yeah, I mean, yes.
Okay. The mother in Broadchurch who loses the son, that's Jodie Whittaker.
Oh.
She's the new Doctor.
Oh.
And like half the cast from Broadchurch was in Doctor Who at some point in time.
Everyone in England has been in Doctor Who at some point.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Even Giles. But Anthony Stewart had. But yeah, I'm excited.
I think even from that little clip, she embodied it, and it's like, the sad part is like all the stupid people out there just like ripping into, Doctor Who is always a man. He should have always been a man. It's like they don't understand the character. He's always said that he's been whatever.
Right.
By the way, I loved Broadchurch. I had to look it up because I get confused with one other show, but that's a great show.
It's probably, as much as I liked him as the Doctor and the other things that I've seen Tennant in, it was probably my favorite performance I've ever seen Tennant as. He's just phenomenal.
I have my favorite episode too, as well. Do you have a favorite episode? The one where the woman is in the field in a dress, in the red dress. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then never mind.
From which season?
I think she's talking in the early episodes.
I don't know. I don't know what season. I just know that, it's like she's leaning down in a field. She's dead. She's wearing this amazing red dress. And we're trying to figure out how she got out into the middle of the field posed like that. That did not stick out to you. That's fine. Let's move on.
Well, my favorite episode is when the Doctor, well, I have two, but one that sticks out more is when the Doctor visits Vincent Van Gogh. So the Doctor visits, Vincent. The Doctor and Vincent is the name of the episode, and it's about Doctor going back.
Oh, I'm talking about Broadchurch.
Oh.
You're talking about Doctor Who.
See, we're crossing streams. Cross streams
on this
Do
one.
not cross the streams. Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's...
one last thing. Timeless had a big show out at Comic-Con. Our guys had fans fly a banner across Comic-Con saying, "Save Rufus."
Yep.
And?
I don't know, nothing happened. But we still know we have
nothing.
A lot of time clockers out there. So
I'm shocked that Netflix has not stepped in yet.
Or Amazon.
So
Or
I'm
anyone.
guessing that they might be getting blocked by the show, or not the showrunners, but
The network.
licensing issues with NBC. That they won't be able to grab it.
Also, Fox and Disney together.
That was the last news.
Sorry, I just had to say it. It made me happy. So, sorry. Moving on.
You just stole it from him. That's just so rude.
So yeah, some other trailers that stuck out. Go see them. Blind Spotting looks good. It's got Daveed Diggs in it. It opens this week in limited. White Boy Rick with Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey. About the youngest informant for the FBI.
Cool.
Looks really interesting. I like Matthew when he plays these really out there roles, and I think he looks phenomenal in it. Because I'm a troll's not the right word. Fanboy for Westerns. The Sisters Brothers looks interesting to me. It's got Joaquin Phoenix and...
Describe him, and I'll tell you. Describe her.
Man. Dude from Chicago.
Oh, Richard Gere?
No.
It's John C. Reilly you're talking
John
about.
C. Reilly. And
Invisible. No.
Cellophane.
Cellophane. Thank you.
Amos.
Cellophane.
but it just looks funny-ish with a serious undertones to it. And I'll see it just because it's a Western.
It's a movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Go see the trailer. It's in the thread.
Cool.
I put all the trailers in there.
Have you guys seen anything on Netflix as far as what's going to be coming up as like a series that looks good to you?
I know one series that is coming. Oh, Ozark Season 2 trailer just came out yesterday.
Okay.
So that one's, I didn't see when that was coming back. Iron Fist teaser just came on. That's coming in September. like I said, this news this week has just been out there. Matt Groening's new series that Matt Groening is behind, Simpsons, Disenchantment, will be coming on there, and it's very adult oriented, but it's not The Simpsons. It's got The Simpsons style of what the characters look like because that's Matt's way he draws. There was a couple other ones that came out that I just didn't click on them just because I was like on information overload at this point.
There's one that's what's Jenna. I want to say Jessica Biel. Is it Sinner? Does that look horrible to you? Or does it look good?
I don't remember if I even saw that one yet.
Oh, yeah, there's one called Sinner. So that looked interesting. So I have it on my little watch list. I clicked it. Sometimes when I don't find a movie, all I do is go through and just put things on my watch list for hours.
Well, just remember to put one of Glow on there, and I'll put Handmaid Tale on mine.
And eventually
we'll go.
I apologize to your friend who already doesn't like me.
Why? She doesn't. Not that she doesn't like you.
That's my personality. I think everybody doesn't like me. It's one of those things. It's a joke. I talked about it all week. I totally spaced it.
The only thing I can say about it is go into it not thinking about wrestling.
Right.
Okay.
Think about it as a behind the scenes of women trying to control their own destiny and a TV show director trying to make something of his life and all the crazy ass broke down stories that come with that.
Okay.
A father who's estranged from his daughter, and all of a sudden she pops into his life, and he's a druggie.
Okay, don't talk too much about it.
Best friends who have a huge head-to-head in the first episode that is just like, oh, okay. That starts it all. And
did you understand it? The best friends fight?
Oh, yeah. There's a
okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, well, that was a good little trailer for me. Thank
wrestling is more of the thing that
red herring
is in the background that kind of brings everything together.
Every time I hear it's a red herring,
MacGuffin.
It's the clue. It's a red herring.
But wrestling is also the thing in that show that brings out the best in each of them. It turns them into a different person than what they were at the beginning.
Dewey liked it and you haven't seen it yet?
I know, and nobody knows who Dewey is.
Dewey's stamp of approval. You should be
I know.
binged through it
Nobody
already.
knows who Dewey is yet.
He's coming. It'll be next week.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Dewey's will be next week. All right. So now that we've gone through all that, let's start getting into the meat of the bone here.
What are we at?
We're about probably 35 to 40 minutes in right now.
Right there.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. So the first thing up, as Anthony just said, House of Mouse officially acquires the House of the X-Men. So Fox acquisition is completely official. Disney now owns that, which means Marvel's rights to their characters are now back. So I'm looking forward to them being back where they should be.
Spider-Man is still out there.
Spider-Man's out there, but there's an agreement that they can actually work with that character.
Right.
And so that's good. So the only thing that they really don't have is the characters underneath the Spider-Man universe. Right. So like Venom and a couple of the other ones. So she's doing hand signals again.
What?
I can't remember what I talked about last time. Did I talk about the fact that I went to go see? Yeah, I did. Go ahead, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Did I say that I went to see it?
Did she? No.
I went to go see it.
Yes, you did.
Okay. And then I
can't remember if you fell asleep at that one.
No, I didn't.
Oh, no, wait. She said she wanted to see it because she wanted to know if she should watch the first one before seeing the second one.
Yeah, I did see it. I watched the first one, and then I went to go see that.
Did it work?
I went to go see it.
And?
What you said about really wanting to know the story before.
Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer, Ant-Man and the Wasp story.
That was my feeling.
Yeah.
That is what I want to see. So yeah, that's what I want to see. So it was fine.
The downside of I'm just going to branch off on that for a second. The downside of that is neither of those actors are getting any younger anytime soon.
They can make him look younger.
They can make him look younger.
Sort of.
Creepy.
Michael Douglas's family has a history of
longevity.
I know.
Kirk Douglas had a major stroke.
I know.
So,
Sooner rather than later.
You never know what's going to happen. So there's one more story with the current cast, and then if they did something else, then they'd have to bring it. But I don't know. Just something.
I just think it'd be interesting. Anyway.
All right. And the next issue, James Gunn fired as the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 director over
tweets.
Lots of tweets from before he was hired at Disney, so almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Some pretty bad, tweets. He said they were jokes.
I don't know anything about this. Sorry.
A lot of pedophile type jokes. He was a very shock director. If you know any of his earlier work, and he was trying to he said he was trying to be provocative and get things out there. And I mean, there's lots and lots of tweets. I saw a sampling of just 12 of them, and you're just like, even if they're taken as jokes, they're kind of dark, sick jokes. However,
what did he do before? Can you give me some?
Slither.
A lot of shock. No, not shock. Films.
So that was the headline. What was that, like the day after Comic-Con or the last day of Comic-Con it hit?
Yeah.
It was like a bomb dropped, because here's one of the most popular directors of the whole Marvel universe, and Disney kicked him out the door
because someone was upset with him and found his.
Yeah, there was a. You can say there's a political side to it. You can say there's a cultural side to it. It was something definitely with a vendetta that brought it out. Doesn't excuse that he said these things in the first place and put them out there.
Are you guys upset about this?
I don't know what I am about it.
It's kind of confusing, really.
As a director, it'll suck not to have him as a director, because I think he's done it well. But as a person, you kind of need to. You make a mistake, you say shit like this. You need to. He's owned up to it, and now he's paying the consequence. So, in terms of getting morally justification, this is what's happening right now. He's getting the justice that, per se, but I'm not the judge, jury, or what.
Do directors not have? This sounds really dumb. I apologize. Ignorant, not dumb. Do directors not have agents, or somebody?
They do. Yes, they do. They have.
Does somebody just shut them down?
He had already apologized for these tweets,
but he put them out there
years
anyway.
ago. No, before he got hired at Disney, but never got rid of them. So they were still out there, and then somebody brought him back into the limelight, and Disney decided they were drawing too much attention, and with everything else that's going on, it's time to separate ourselves.
Save ourselves.
Well, too bad that Disney is not in charge of the United States of America.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Sorry.
And so
had to throw that in, people.
So they kicked him out, and so the moral of that story is: don't post stupid stuff if you're not willing to stand behind whatever the consequences are. Fast forward to the last 2 days, huge petition going around. Every single one of the Guardians of the Galaxy cast is calling for James Gunn to be reinstated as a director, be rehired, with a long post basically saying this is not the man who made those jokes 10 years ago. He's grown as a person. He is not the person that we've come to know. Just long, heartfelt thing. So it's a very touchy subject, and it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen. I don't agree with the post. I don't agree with what he said. And I think, like I said before,
see what happens.
You say stupid stuff, you get stupid consequences.
Sometimes.
Well, yeah, sometimes. In the court of what should happen, not always what does happen. But so that was number one. And the next thing that happened, we even have somebody in the studio who actually experienced this. MoviePass.
I was pissed.
Didn't I send you guys a message about why that happened? Or I don't know if you guys got it.
So
I don't think what you sent, I don't think is all the information.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of stuff happening right now, and I'll tune in.
Okay.
Tell us your story.
My message was, so I got MoviePass because I go to movies alone a lot. And then, gosh, I took Kendra when we went to go see The Wasp, or whatever. I know Ant-Man and the Wasp. We both got in for free. That rocked. And so I checked in. I went into the movie theater that, checked in. But when I checked in, it said something weird, like make sure that you take a picture of your tickets, which I did last time and had no problem. That's fine. No big deal. So I went in and then it just kept saying, I'm sorry, we're experiencing all these issues we're having. We're experiencing this. And they had this huge, long verbiage of a bunch of crap. And then it said, if you have any issues, you can go to our website. So I went to the website. I'm in the movie theater. The guy's like, I am not a MoviePass person, so hopefully you can figure this out. So I go back and I'm calling. I called at 11 o'clock EST. I don't know when they open, but they were not open. And they said,
my guess was 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
They're, they were not open, but they were not open later that day. And so so then that was on Friday. They had this huge outage on Thursday. I went Friday to do this. Then Saturday I checked because I was going to put my tickets on to see if I could get a refund. Still having problems on Saturday. But I still went on, figured out how to take a picture of, I put it on their contact us and then refunds. And you can go into the refunds and then it has, you can send an email with a picture. And I have yet to find out anything. But I just, oh my gosh.
So MoviePass, if you're not familiar with it, go back and listen to a couple of our episodes. We've talked about it several times. And one of the big issues they've been dealing with has been repeat users going to see movies over and over and over again. So recently they just introduced the photo
I think people pass their cards off too.
Well, it's the photo verification system as well, so that they see that you're only seeing the one movie and you're seeing the movie you want to. Because at the bottom of it, they have the check in here if movie's not listed, and so people would go and check that to go see movies over and over and over again. So they introduced the verification system to stop people from seeing multiple movies or multiple showings of the same movie. So they only want you to see the same movie once. You're only allowed to see it once.
Okay.
And so that's why they introduced that, is to verify that you're going to see the movie that you say you're going to see.
I see.
Because if you have somebody using it over and over to go see Avengers 27 times, you're eventually going to start losing money.
Uh-huh.
And so they introduced that, and their membership has been increasing and increasing. So you expect to do that, and it's been increasing faster than they wanted it to. And all of a sudden, word comes out on Thursday night that their main basically credit card management company would be the people that handle the money coming in, had no money.
Right, I heard that. They ran out of money.
How much of this is true? I don't know. All I know is they needed $5 million to fix that. That got it through the weekend, and then apparently they were out of money by
Not on Saturday.
Sunday. They were having two issues apparently at the same time. They were having the technical issues, and then they were having the money issues, all happening simultaneously. And so they went through another round of funding, got more money put in on Monday morning. Their stock got split last week, so they had $21 per share of stock as of last Monday, and as of this morning, it was 98 cents a share per.
Holy shit.
So that $5 million that they got was gone by Monday morning.
Well, I will say that on Saturday, I'm sorry, it did say that they were going to be out till 4 o'clock. I did not try after 4.
And then on the technical side, so apart from what you were experiencing, Fallout was not available to go see.
Right.
It was grayed out. That. You could not check into it anywhere. And from what I was reading, if you had an e-ticketing theater, which you can all get online theaters here, but for some reason none of ours are e-ticketing theaters, you could still get in to see Mission Impossible. But if you went on Twitter or Facebook or anything, you were not allowed to go to Mission Impossible. It was just completely grayed out. And then every single showing of every other single movie was on peak pricing. So if you wanted to go see Sorry to Bother You at 1 p.m. on a Sunday, it was showing up at peak pricing at AMC for $8 extra charge.
You're kidding.
This was the weekend. I was showing my wife, I'm just scrolling through. I'm like, every single showing of every show was $8 or $6.50 if you went to like Cinemark. I'm like, they are having some serious I checked today.
Sorry.
And nothing was on peak pricing today, but Mission Impossible Fallout was still grayed out.
I got my Mission Impossible tickets 2 weeks ago. So, because I was a nerd and Jason has fun, and the guy just needed to have some fun. So we went to see that 2D IMAX. Perfect. We can talk about it later. I mean, perfect venue to see it in IMAX.
Yep.
I mean, but the movie I went to go see, because I was like, maybe it can't be because this movie's too popular. Anyway, so I went to see
Mr. Rogers.
Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Yeah.
And so I had to pay for that one.
So yeah, there's a lot of things going. A lot of people today are like, hey, MoviePass is on the verge of bankrupt. You guys, you get out of the sinking ship while you can. And I'm just, in the back of my mind, I'm still not at a loss with MoviePass. $9.95 is still a win for me.
Me too.
And I'm going to ride this until the ship burns or they fix what's going on. MoviePass from day one has been the worst customer service ever. They put out a product that was way more. I don't know how nobody said you're going to drop it to $9.95 or $12. It was $12.95 was the first drop. You're going to drop it to $12.95 and you don't think this is going to be popular. How did nobody stand in their way and say, you need to up your customer service instead of having 2 people on staff to answer everything?
Right.
It took me, I ended up with like 2 MoviePass cards.
Okay.
And it took 3 weeks to get this resolved before I could actually activate 1 MoviePass card. Even then, it's still worth it, even with all this trouble.
I didn't have a problem with that.
They went from maybe a couple thousand users to a couple million within a span of 3 months. And they dropped it to $9.95, and I think they might be pushing close to 5 million users right now.
It's probably because of this podcast. Maybe we're talking about it too much.
But they didn't increase. They slowly increased their customer service, but they still didn't have enough people to answer everything, all the technical issues.
But it was down to $9.95. I got it for $9.95.
Yeah, you got it for $9.95, and they dropped mine down to $9.95 as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So, because I was on the monthly, so they dropped it down. But the biggest thing that always sits in the back of my head about this is the guy behind this is Mitch Lowe. Mitch Lowe is the guy that was behind Netflix. The one thing that Mitch Lowe is good for is disrupting the system. That is what he's set out from day one, is trying to disrupt the theater system. What is he accomplished by disrupting the system? Just by dropping that down. AMC is put out a $19.95 plan that allows you to see 3 movies a week with upgrades to IMAX, 3D, and discounts on food. Regal has introduced something similar, not as good as the AMC thing, for $9.95 a month.
I do Cinemark.
Maybe it's Cinemark.
I do Cinemark because they do 20% off.
Yeah, the concessions. So it was Cinemark I was thinking of. So he's gotten 2 major.
But it's $8.
Yeah, but he's gotten 2 major theaters.
Yeah.
To shake up things, and he's still doing this. And my gut feeling, like, everybody's like, oh, they're going, this is why they're not doing a Fallout, or they're going to start blocking blockbusters. I'm like, no, this is a play. They're blocking Mission Impossible on purpose because they want to show the theaters how much of an impact not allowing or blocking a certain movie through the MoviePass will affect the theaters. Because they have.
Do you think it affected the theaters?
I think it will.
Mission Impossible?
Because now people are going to have to pay money to go see it. So if people are going to pay money rather than pay the $9.95, people are in that.
I paid the money.
Well, it depends.
Well, because here's the thing.
They did it before, and there was a noticeable drop. I forgot which movie they did it before, but they cut off one of the movies for the weekend in one of the big cities to show that how much of a drop it made.
If they really wanted to make it awesome, which I think AMC lets you do, or yes. AMC lets you go on and pick your seats and still use their card.
Yeah.
And
that's what the e-ticketing is on MoviePass, but we don't have any of the
that's what that
theaters
means?
Here. Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean? E-ticketing.
E-ticketing, electronic ticketing.
Right. We do too.
No, MoviePass doesn't have any of those partners here that are under the e-ticketing.
Correct. I'm sorry. Yes.
So on the e-ticketing,
which is a pain in the ass, by the way.
Yeah, like I said, my feeling with is MoviePass is it's going to be here for a while. It's just in a very technological growing pain right now.
It's hard for the people that are going on the weekends.
I think the one thing that it's going to do is it's going to split those people that were just gorging on that, 30 movies a month. Those people are going to start flying off easily because those are the guys that are the most vocal and most complaining and trying to, but that's what they want. I think their key market are going to be the people that see maybe 3 to 4 movies a month. Introduce, once they start introducing the IMAX upgrade and the, you can buy a ticket for your spouse at the same time upgrade, they're going to be golden.
I got Kinderdian free. I didn't have to pay for her.
I don't know how you got her in free.
I'm serious. We both got in free.
That might be part of the technical difficulties.
She could be. She's pretty.
Because they haven't...
Not going to comment.
Because they haven't introduced the bring a guest option yet. That's not supposed to come out until end of August, beginning of September.
They're like, here you go. Boop.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So...
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sticking around because...
I'm sticking
around. At 9.95, I haven't lost. I went back through and looked. I'm like, all right, June was my biggest month so far where I saw 5 movies and 4 of them were MoviePass movies. July, I saw 2 movies and only 1 was a MoviePass movie. And the reason this is happening is because the same thing. Like, I want to go see it in IMAX 2D, or I want to go see it at the big theater, or I need to get that ticket for opening night. And the only way I have to do it is to go through Fandango and get that ticket.
You could also go to the movie. Well, most people can't do this, but you could also go to the theater. No, you can't.
Do what now?
Can you go to the theater beforehand and get a ticket through MoviePass for the next day?
No, not for the next day. It has to be the same day.
But can it
and
for
the
a
theater
later
has
time?
to be open because you have an hour from the time you check in.
An hour.
But you can check. You can do it for like a 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock showing that evening. It's just like the theater has to be open because you have to go to the kiosk.
Oh, within an hour, yeah.
Within an hour of activating.
So I could go at
check-in.
11 o'clock to pick up tickets for 7 o'clock?
Yeah. What I do is, because AMC is kind of on the way home, if I get out early and I want to go see an 8 o'clock showing or something like that, I'll drive in at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, grab my ticket, head home, and then I don't have to worry.
Can't believe I didn't think about that, by the way. That's so annoying.
So
Okay.
that's the news. A lot of news. So moving into the recommendation list, we're going to start off with Anthony, because I think me and Valerie are both going to run over the same movie here.
Okay, so I watched the movie Masterminds. Let me do a brief summary. Masterminds is basically about these 4 people who get together and decide to rob a money depository.
Where is this? Is this a movie?
This is a movie
on
Netflix.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that. So we have Kristen Wiig, who's from Rochester. We have Owen Wilson, and that's why I watched it because I miss Owen Wilson being in Wes Anderson films. We have Zach Galifianakis. And we have, let me get this guy's name right too. Give me one moment here. I'm going to pull this up if I know who I'm talking about. I think his name is...
I think I've seen this. When did this come out?
This came out in 2016. And we have Jason Sudeikis is in it. So, and it's kind of a black comedy kind of way, but basically it's about a group of misfits who rob a armory. And they're not too bright. It's based on a true story. And it kind of is in the spirit of Lucky Logan, in that kind of tone, similar vein. It's really not laugh out loud funny, but it's like just a couple of chuckles here and there, but it's very amusing to watch. And it has heart, which things I say that have heart means that there's a core to it that you feel invested in besides the humor. Zach's character and Kristen Wiig's character are our core, our heart of the film. Zach's character loves her, and they slowly have a built rapport together, and then it blossoms into something great. And it's just a lot of things you wouldn't suspect to be real life, but they actually did happen because this is based on a true story. Any questions, thoughts?
No.
Did you read it first?
I did not, no.
And you enjoyed it?
It felt like this was a SNL fan fest, but then I found out later that it was produced by Lorne Michaels, so therefore Lorne brought all of his SNL peeps in as a vehicle to show their comedic talents. So you have who else is in
Did you
this
laugh
too?
out loud?
A couple of times, not a whole lot. I'm not a laugh out loud person, but it takes a lot to do that. Leslie Jones is in the film, who is the big black woman from SNL. She's also a writer on the show. But yeah, she's in Ghostbusters too. So a little reunion between Kristen Wiig and
Ghostbusters.
Leslie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like Ghostbusters, a new one. But moving on. There's just a lot of awkward humor, a lot of like gut chucks of like, wow, that happened. Wow, I feel bad for him. And I mean, everyone's not that dumb. I mean, they all have their moments, and there's a lot of buddy moments too. I don't want to spoil anything because I think you should watch it ahead. Go ahead. Question.
No.
She's thinking.
SNL.
Alum.
Yeah. Are you saying Big Black Woman as a character, or you're saying
The black woman
as
actor.
a actress?
Yeah.
You're.
Leslie Jones.
That's how you're describing her.
She calls herself that. She's a big black woman on SNL. She's a writer on the show too.
Okay. Sorry, it bothered me for a minute. I'm fine now. If she calls herself that, fine.
She does.
Okay, cool.
She's
Well,
kind of hard to
Santo, we gotta have a woman's voice in here. I was just like, what? Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, the ending is a feel-good ending, and it really takes you there, and you want to see the whole film to completion. You don't want to stop. So it's a nice roller coaster of emotion feeling, and I enjoyed it. I would say watch it when you can. And if you have a rainy day, you got nothing to do, watch it too.
What other movie? So you're saying, what other movies did you say that it was like?
like
If
Lucky
you
Logan.
Logan Lucky, it sounds
Yeah.
like, if you like that, you would like this movie.
Yes.
Anything else?
There's another film with Jack Black. He is based on a true story too. It's a black comedy. It's about a guy who in the South. I should know what it is.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
But Bernie, I think it is.
Mhm.
But
Bernie.
he kills his friend.
Yeah, that one was
Okay.
It's kind of the same spirit. So, but yeah, awkward humor is my thing.
That's fine.
But yeah, I mean, this was a good film, so I would recommend you watch it. I'm sorry I'm not elaborating on it because I really want people to watch it with open eyes and ears and not be spoiled by things. Because if you watch it open-minded without knowing what happens, you'll be more interested in watching it. But I liked it. It was good.
Valerie, what was the smaller film you saw?
You mean my documentary?
Yes.
I went to go see Won't You Be My Neighbor, which is the documentary about Mr. Rogers. I'm going to start the story out by telling you a little story, which I thought was very interesting because I wonder how many people feel this way. So Kendra and I went to the post office the day before or the day of or after we went to go see this movie, right? Documentary. And really in awe kind of the kindness of this man and his life. And of course he has faults, but we all do. But basically as a whole did a lot for children. So we noticed that there was a stamp and we asked about the stamp and the stamp had been sold out. We're like, oh, well, I said, well, that's a good sign. And the person that I dealt with said, I don't know. I don't really like Mr. Rogers. And I kind of thought, oh.
I don't think I've ever met anybody
Really?
that's
My
ever said they
mother-in-law
haven't.
did that. We were talking about it at dinner.
But this
She did
person,
that.
I'm not even going to give you the sex of this person, but this person said, I just don't believe that he was like that all the time. Like he was that kind all the time, that he was that person all the time, that was just a fake. And so
Go look at his speech before Congress. That's all you need to see.
Well, it's in the movie.
Yeah.
I said, you need to see the documentary then. I said, they do address this. They do address that specific point that people had. He brought up things. So my children, I thought, had seen him. They had not seen him. They understood Daniel Tiger because Daniel Tiger came from him. So I sat down Saturday morning and was going to have them watch. Harper was so not interested, but they had, he had a little tidbit about being forgotten as a friend because Daniel Tiger was supposed to be picked up, but his friend forgot him to go to a party and how it made him feel. And then she realizes, oh my gosh, I forgot him. So she goes back to talk to him. And it was this very tense, I mean, this is black and white still, very tense talk about what it feels like to feel forgotten by a friend. And if you know, how the friend was trying to explain why, and, you know, and Zoe was just totally zeroed in. And actually, I think it affected her a little bit. But he talked about the assassination of Bobby Kennedy because he thought the children would be hearing these words, and they, you know, what does the word assassination mean? You know, they talk about that. He talked a lot about during the time period when, the way they put it, blacks and whites were not able to go swimming together in pools. It was a hot day, and he had one of those little pools out, and he had his, you know, everything rolled up, and his feet were in it, and his friend came in that was played by, his name is, you're going to kill me because I didn't watch it during that time.
I think it's the first episode I ever watched. My dad had me sit down and watch that one.
I'm sorry, but
I taped it.
The thing that got me about Mr. Rogers was just even the things you're describing here is he was the guy that talked to your kids about the things that you didn't want to talk to them
That's
about.
exactly right. And they talked about, he puts his feet in the same pool.
Kids or anybody that's grown up in the last 10, 15 years to even like wrap their head around as to like that kind of talking. Because of, you know, any information you want is available anywhere you want to get it. And for the generations that he was involved with, you're either hearing it on that news that the whole family was watching over the radio or the TV or the newspaper, and that was it.
And he was explaining it to them. And here he was sharing this little pool, and everything was okay. This is okay. And he talked about disabilities. He talked about seeing people as who they are inside. And he had these little songs that he sang, and I didn't even know all the songs, and some of them there's this one song that kind of got to me. I will say that Daniel Tiger actually says, I'm kind of worried that I wasn't wanted. That I wasn't wanted. And he deals with children who felt like their parents didn't want them. Like they didn't mean to have them. And going through and talking about that. I mean, who in the hell talks about that? No one talks about that on television now. Nobody talks about that stuff like in cartoons or for little children. And to go through those emotions. And he did a lot of quiet time. He loved quiet and not loud and not like, so he had a lot of time where he actually shows how long a minute is. This is how long a minute is. And everyone is silent for an entire minute. And, you know, he just, all these different types of things. And I, you know, Ken and I just sat there like, I mean, it was, I had mom guilt leaving. That sounds, I know that's not the point of it. The point was to show this extraordinary life. But, yeah, he kind of goes about saying, you know, these are the types of things that parents are showing their children. And part of it was superheroes. And Spider-Man came out, and you had all these kids jumping off their houses and dying because they thought they were Spider-Man. They could be Superman. And he deals with that. So he had an entire week about superheroes and how this is a movie that's not real. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really interesting. So I don't know how long it's going to be in theaters, and I don't know if it's going to be near you. I was thinking this is not going to go anywhere.
At limited theaters right now?
Would
you see it at the Little?
No, I saw it at Pittsford.
Oh,
okay.
Pittsford and stuff like that.
But you know, I was thinking about the little, the small town Kansas stuff. I can't imagine carrying this movie.
Yeah, and so that'll probably be 3 to 6 months. It'll be out.
The only issue The only issue that I saw that was troubling is that he did have a gay character on his show that was married, but he went to a gay bar and it went out into the papers and everything. And Fred went to talk to him and said, look, you can't do this again. I'm sorry, you can't go and do this because PBS was going to pull and all the they were going to pull everything, all the money. And he kept singing the song to him about love. And he looked at him and he said, you're talking to me? He said, finally, I'm talking to you. And he said, my own father didn't tell me he loved me, but this man told me he loved me. And the whole point was he had nothing against homosexuals. He didn't have anything against it, just that he wanted to make sure that they kept their funding in order to keep putting out these messages. And at his funeral, of course, there was picketing.
Yep.
And it's probably Westboro Church.
Yep.
And I lived in Topeka, Kansas, and drove by there every single day on the way to school. And I could say actually more about that, but
we'll save that for another time.
Yeah, but I would say go see it. If you can see it, go see it. It's definitely eye-opening. It's heartwarming, and it's nice to see somebody who is genuinely kind and just wants to share love with people, and not a sick way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't find anything out that was whacked out about it. So yeah, a genuine person who cared about children. So pretty cool.
Awesome. Before we go into your second movie, so there was a couple movies that were on my radar that I wanted to see, and so I should have had a really, really, really packed movie. I was looking at trying to get to Road to Sicario and Equalizer 2. Didn't get to either one of them. I did, however, just randomly on a Tuesday evening, I think, went out and saw Sorry to Bother You.
Oh, how was it?
Fan-freaking-tastic. Loved it. It was just it was first-time director. I think he's is he a music guy, music director, or music rapper or something?
What's his name?
Music video guy. I don't know. I can't tell you a name of anybody who's in the movie or directed it. It was just a fantastically fun movie. Tessa.
Thompson.
Tessa Thompson is in this and plays the lead female. And it's just, and then Glenn from Walking Dead is on it as well. It was just good movie in terms of like, there's nothing else out there like this movie. It's just so weird and unique. And I'm just going to spoil a little bit of part of it. So it's about the life of a online phone salesman, basically. You know, he tries to, he's in a call center and he meets, is it Danny Glover?
Yes.
From Lethal Weapon. Is his cubicle neighbor, and you know he's getting rejected. And the way they do these call scenes are hilarious because he picks up the phone, he starts doing the call, and all of a sudden he's there with the people that he's talking to. And so he drops in on a couple making love. He drops in on a woman whose husband just died, and he's having the conversation across for them, holding the phone and doing that. And he just keeps getting rejected. And then Danny Glover gives him this. He's like, you got to use your white man voice, and just starts going to this. So he changes his voice. He's like, got to do it like this. And so the white man voice is one of the Bluth brothers.
You're talking about
Tobias.
Tobias Funke.
So whenever he jumps into his white man voice, it's Tobias's voice. So he's talking, but it's Tobias's voice coming out. And it's hilarious because it's so bizarre in the way that they do the story. And he gets all wrapped up and starts becoming a successful salesman, why Tessa's doing all this other art stuff, and the phone people are going on a rebellion against the phone company. And then Armie Hammer is the guy behind, he's the guy behind one of the companies that is basically, in the background you have this is why this movie is so bizarre. they created a community of people where you don't have to, all of your cares are taken care of. So you go and work for them. You have a place to sleep. You have a place to eat. You have a place to live. And it basically comes out that he's the most horrible thing ever, even though Army thinks he's like created the greatest thing ever. And it's a workforce. Then they're selling off people to work for China so they can make phones. And they're using these people because they're making them at like pennies a dollar per phone, because they don't realize, all the investment is going into there. And then all of a sudden you find Army Hammer's equestrian type people. So he was doing an experiment to make these people that he's pitched out to people. He's making them into half man, half horse people.
What?
And it just gets bizarre. But it is so hilarious because this movie is just, it's like watching a music video. Because you know how like music videos out of the 80s and 90s were just occasionally they'd be a little quirky.
Yeah.
Right.
This just takes that a little bit different, but it's fun.
Like Sledgehammer.
Yeah. So I recommend it. I think it's a really good film. It's a piece of filmmaking that's so different from what's out there that it was nice to have a breather to say, well, that was different. And it was enough that like I was bust out laughing out loud, and like you hear like people just chuckling and laughing out loud throughout the whole theater. I mean, it was even more different than going and seeing like a standard like ha 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 ha, 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 ha. It was just like different people got different allusions to whatever their culture background was and how they view things differently. Like I don't come from an African American background, but I around a lot of people, and so I see things a little bit differently than how they see it. So they're laughing at things in a way different way than I was laughing at it. And then they bring out this white piece of thing, and you're just like, oh yeah, there's our stupid white-isms kind of things. But I don't know, just go see it. Okay. It's going to be hard to get to. It's going to probably be out of theaters. My guess would be this week or next week. I mean,
go quickly.
So that was that. Didn't get to see the other two. And then
you and I went to go, not together.
Not together. I went opening night. I took my daughter. She had watched.
Did you get tickets?
So leading up to the backstory. Here we go.
How did you see it though?
Oh, IMAX 2D.
Okay, so you saw it.
Yeah. So leading up to this, I'm a big spy thriller action fan, and the Mission Impossible series they fit into that vein, so I've enjoyed them. Sure. And I remember seeing the first one in 1996.
Were you confused?
It was a Brian De Palma film.
I know.
Brian De Palma doing an action film with Tom Cruise, John Voight. Like, whoa. It just was weird.
It was confusing.
And they've been spread out far enough that here's this 22 years that this franchise has been together.
It's shocking.
I'm sitting.
I guess I didn't.
Last Sunday, I put the first one on and I just started watching them. So I watched the first, second, and third in one day as I was resting my ankle. And then, so you get to the second one. It's kind of the odd one of the bunch. It's really weird. It's a John Woo film. It's got some really undertones out of it that I was just like, the series could have gone down the crapper really quick and never bounced back. It had Hans Zimmer music, and it was right at the same time as he was finishing up Gladiator. So his music had Lisa Gerrard and the guitarist that he used on Gladiator. So a lot of the music sounds so eerily similar, and I don't remember. This must have been the first time I've watched it since the first time I watched it.
Who's in it? Like, is there a special
villain
in it? Or what happens?
This movie is so forgettable that I can't. Okay. It's the one that happens in China where he's,
nope.
Yeah, they're trying to steal the thing, the biotech out of China.
Okay, no idea.
And the girl in it, the girl, he'll get it for me here.
I'm getting it now.
But it went from like this really, really awesome film of Mission Impossible 1 to, what did I just watch? With Mission Impossible 2, with stunts that were just like, these things are so off the wall bonkers that like people riding 2 motorcycles and hitting each other in midair, and then them spinning around.
Okay, I remember.
Then the coolest thing about Mission Impossible 2, and I'm going to only touch upon this one because it plays a part in the rest of the Mission Impossible series, is it opens with him climbing up a face in I think it's not in the Badlands. I think it's in Arizona.
That's what they sold it. That's the trailer teaser. It was just him climbing
I
free-handed.
totally okay. I remember.
And
now.
he's freehanding up this, and it set the stage. And he, backtrack into in a second of the crazy shit that Tom Cruise does. He did that stunt.
Right.
He had some wires, but he did that freehand stunt. He did that jump from one rock to the other rock.
I know.
Basically put the director on edge, and director almost
crazy.
lost his shit. The insurance companies almost lost their shit. But he set the standard with the first one where Tom Cruise actually jumped out of the busting window with the water behind him. That was him.
Oh, yes. I remember that.
That's all I remember about the first film is, all I remember about the first film is him taking the gum and throwing it. That's the only thing.
Throwing the gum on the wall.
Yeah,
boom, window opens.
It makes me laugh every time I see it.
So he set that. He did his own stunt there. And then he did the climbing scene. And I think the climbing scene was important because all of a sudden, in all the rest of the films, you learn how physical Tom Cruise's character, Ethan Hunt, is going forward. And how that pivotally plays in what he does and how he gets it done. And so we moved into Mission Impossible 3.
Which is the
J.J.
one.
Abrams, which is Valerie's favorite.
Well, that's my favorite. Well,
the only one that she remembers.
Well, no, Kendra has not seen any, and she's not an action girl. Like she's like, I don't like action movies. Okay, fine, but we're gonna watch this one because it has Philip Seymour Hoffman in it. So she was like, oh, okay, I'll watch it. She was, and they start the movie out, and you're like, I mean, right from the very beginning, J.J. Abrams has you emotionally
right in your face. Yeah, it's just
emotionally connected. You are ready, and then he just has a great way of writing relationships. I don't know how you feel about that, but he writes these relationships, and so we were connected, and we understood how much she meant to him and how much they loved each other. And then Philip Seymour Hoffman, I kept watching his face, even when he got dumped out of the airplane. His
just
face
sitting there listening the whole time, listening for his name, listening for his name.
And his face did not change. He did not look scared. This man, I just thought the third movie was great. I don't know. I
thought it was a really good movie, and it gave us the new characters.
Yes.
It gave us Simon Pegg, jumped into the series. Maggie Q, I think that was her only appearance was in that film. And Ving wasn't in the other two.
Oh.
Right?
No, he was. He was in the first and second one.
Was he?
Yeah. He wasn't really lifted as much, but he was still there. So
everything's blending together now.
Probably.
But I think the most important ad was Simon Pegg being brought in and Michelle Monaghan's character in giving Tom Cruise a grounding of saying that he's vulnerable.
Yes.
And he showed that. And,
And they have, even in the beginning, which kind of cracked me up because we had Bam Bam, Felicity person here, but they already have 2 Felicity characters, including Felicity, in the first 20 minutes of the film. So anybody who's a Felicity person was automatically caring so much about the fact that he was going to rescue her, and he understood why he cared about her. Shush.
Boom.
Seriously? You are so rude. Anyway.
If you haven't seen Mission Impossible 3 yet and know that she blows up her head.
It's just so rude. Yeah. Anyway, I go see that one. Or see that one.
So, yeah, we get to 3, and all of a sudden the franchise is back.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to 4, and Ghost Protocol, directed by Brad Bird, who did The Incredibles. I thought was great. Not much stood out of that outside of, we also got the addition of Jeremy Renner.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And the big scene in that of him climbing.
Is it the one at the Opera House, or was he fighting during the opera or orchestra?
No.
4?
That's Rogue.
Okay, I'm still getting confused.
No. 4 is the one where he's climbing the tallest building in the world.
Oh, okay. They're just blending together.
I mean, it's amazing.
They're blending.
Yeah. And so we go from that one to 5, which introduces Christopher McQuarrie as the director and gives us 2 new characters who play a pivotal role in the next 2 films. We get
Alec,
the dude who plays Lane, Sean Harris, and Ilsa, who's Rebecca Ferguson.
She's from The Greatest Showman, by the way.
She's the opera singer.
She's the opera singer. She's beautiful.
So we get these 2 new characters involved.
And Angela Bassett's in it.
Rogue Nation gets upped yet again. And going back and watching 1 through 5, like I said, with the exception of 2, I felt like there's been this arc of these movies just getting better and better and better, and also getting more and more, a little bit more grounded with each film. Like Ethan gets pulled back just a little bit more. And even though the stunts, when you think about them, the stunts are freaking insanely crazy. And we'll go into this with the 6th is, you watch a trailer for like a movie like Skyscraper and you see The Rock jumping off of a moving beam and he's got a fake leg and he's running on the beam to jump into a building. And the arc of the angle, you're just like, even as you're watching the trailer, you're like, this is just stupid stunt. That they're making up physics. He's never going to make it, kind of thing. Whereas everything that Cruise has been portraying outside of second one is they felt more and more real. Like I've been drawn in more and more, and the action actually feels like
because
this is plausible. And then you realize, oh, that's because the dude doing it is actually doing it.
Like he's
injured himself. He's broken bones.
You see him break his leg. You see him break his foot. He limps right after that jump.
Yeah.
He hits. The Fallout scene. Part where he does. I'm sorry.
And
jumping in.
That brings us in to Mission Impossible 6. Here we are, 22 years later. I can't think of another franchise that has been a continuous thread from the first movie to the last movie in succession and has gone this long and has been this successful, and the movies have gotten better.
And the man was born in 1962. So he is 56. He's 56. He did a halo jump. Halo is high altitude, low open, which means that you open your parachute low, correct? Yes. Anyway, so they had to do a special helmet for him. They had a wind machine to rehearse it, which was the world's largest wind machine, in order to rehearse this shoot. And they had to shoot it at sunset. They had 3 minutes to shoot it. So there was 20 minutes on the ground, just getting oxygen so that he wouldn't have decompressing sickness. The plane was going 165 miles an hour. He jumps out. He is going 200 miles per hour. And he did it. The other, Superman, just kind of
Henry Cavill.
Which is ironic. Didn't.
He couldn't. They wouldn't let him.
He would not let him do it.
So we'll dig into a little bit more of the stunts in a minute. Let's dig into the story a little bit. We talked a little about this before the show. Now, out of all the movies, after watching this whole arc, Fallout is the one that actually feels like it's a sequel to the previous movie. There are things that came over from the previous movie that into this. You brought Ilsa over and her whole backstory, and you've got Lane, played by Sean Harris, and his story of this guy was the head of the syndicate. He was the baddest of bad guys, and he was also always one step ahead of Cruise the whole time. He was a chess player. And so you bring that uncertainty into this one, that as Cruise starts unraveling and figuring out that Lane is playing chess game again and getting himself out, you see this fear in Cruise of knowing that if this guy gets out, if this goes through, this is probably the end of the world.
This is where I want to interject and say, before you go see 6, rewatch 5.
Yeah.
Because
You don't have to watch the whole series.
No,
watch
just
5.
rewatch 5. I did not. I did not rewatch 5, and I had forgotten everything. So when I went in there, it was obvious that I was thinking, okay, we have just stepped right into the next movie, and I have lost some things because I didn't watch the movie before. So
I would pretty much say from 3, 4, 5, and 6 all have big chunks that go from movie to movie, but none so much as 5 and 6.
yeah.
They really feel like, and it's helped that I think they're only 2 years, 3 years apart from each other. So we've kept, like, with the last 3 years, these movies have not been far apart. We bring back the original the same cast. You got Cruise, you've got Simon Pegg, you've got Ving Rhames, you got Alec Baldwin. In this one, also introduced Henry Cavill as Angela Bassett's. Basically, I want to call him her hound. Her
Lackey.
They call him, I think his nickname is the Hammer or something. And so they often refer to as him as the Hammer and Tom Cruise as a scalpel. And so basically it's, So dig in the story a little bit.
I enjoyed it. I mean,
I know you have your thoughts on that.
I do. I have thoughts on the fact that it wasn't as, well, I don't know. Jason said word for word what you said. Because I said, gosh, I just wasn't as emotionally invested. And Jason said, I don't go to these for emotional. I'm not going to see this to get emotionally invested. And I said, yeah, but in number 3, you felt the love. You felt him love. And in this movie, I'm sorry, they talk about they make a big deal about the fact that he has felt for 2 women in his life. I did not feel either one. Even when he sees his ex-wife, I don't feel it. And I did not feel it. I didn't feel it with anybody. He was cold. His face is cold. I don't know if he's had plastic surgery. I don't know what it is, but he did not show a ton of emotion. He does sometimes with his eyes, but not when it comes to the women. And I understand that this is an action movie, but for me, you have to have something that is at risk. Like he finds out his wife is there, his ex-wife is there. That brings up the fact that he's got to get this bomb out of there because you're feeling it, right? But
also at the same time, that also creates one of the funniest scenes in the movie. All of a sudden, here comes the ex or the new husband, and sorry, I got to go save the world. And he just takes off running. I
know, we're like, she got remarried. Okay. I also felt like that.
I just don't think I think because of the last movie and previous movies, I don't think they needed to dwell as much time on it, and I don't think there was time in the movie to dwell on it.
Sure, I understand.
I barely felt like I had a moment to like catch your breath.
No, you didn't.
From one thing to another, and its pacing for me, the pacing was perfect. It was just enough to be like, we're going to raise up and we're going to raise down, and we're going to raise up and we're going to raise down. We
were in a packed house, and I was the one that was like, and Jason was like, and Kendra was just like, oh my gosh, you're so loud. And I kept going, because I kept getting surprised. And then he did some stunt that was absolutely ridiculous. And I just belly laughed really loud, which also embarrassed people. But there was another couple people that laughed because it was it was so ridiculous. But he did learn how to fly that helicopter.
Yeah.
But you can see, Kendra pointed out, you can see the camera and the helicopter, but that's pretty impressive. The man learns how to do his stuff.
Yep. Just get paid for it.
I don't even think it's about being paid for him.
He is a perfectionist.
He's not only a perfectionist, I think he's somebody who's an adrenaline junkie by nature.
He is.
So he learned to fly. He did the parachute jump. He did all the motorcycle driving and the car driving and the big fight scene in the club.
The jumping.
How do they insure this? I'm just curious.
I think he insures himself.
But yeah,
at this point in time, it's just like, hey, whatever you want to do. But
he, in all of his movies, like he learned how in
that's what actors do. They learn.
What is that? Well, They have a lot of stand-ins.
It drew me in a way because it allows the director and the camera guy to get in with an angle that if you had a stunt person, you're back farther.
That's right.
Or you have to CGI a face, and you kind of know. But my favorite scene, and there was only 2 IMAX scenes in the whole movie. I wish there were more. And the first IMAX scene was so short. It was the jumping out of the plane. That was the first one. It was so short that I was like, wow, that was cool, but they could have used IMAX better. And then the second one being the big helicopter scene for basically the whole almost third act, with the exception of the cut scenes in and out, was the motorcycle scene. The motorcycle scene through the racing between him and Elsa and then him driving the car through Paris. I was just like, why did they not shoot this in IMAX? I was actually livid because it was my favorite scene. I'm just like, it was doing that. It was just driving through, and then the shot with her going down the long, the long stretch, and you just flying it, just full on speed. And I saw the behind the scenes. She was probably hitting 80 to 100 miles an hour going through that, and that's insane, even as a stunt person to do. And then it tops off with him coming out into the Louvre, or not the Arc. The Arc. Is it the Arc de Triomphe? Backwards against traffic.
Yes.
And if you go behind the scenes, it's like typically the standard on when you do moving scenes are 20 to 30 miles an hour because it looks faster on camera. These were almost at speed every single stunt. He's flying through things, and it was just in your face. The camera is there. And I caught a glimpse of behind the scenes, and I'm like, I swear there was an IMAX camera there. I don't know why there's not an IMAX scene.
To see his foot come down, his foot kept coming down.
He is a great bike rider. He rides
I kept
so
thinking, because they don't show that a lot in movies where they have the foot coming down because he's like learning how to. It's fun. I'd say go see it. I mean, it's fun.
And I would say go see it in IMAX.
If you can.
Just for that last scene. The last scene is something in IMAX. It's just when it switches, even from like a resolution standpoint. So like IMAX for me, generally, if it's just a standard format film that's being up-resed into the IMAX screen, you kind of get like a pixelation, granulation thing happening because it's so big. But when they switch into the IMAX, you get the full 8K effect, and it's insane. The clarity of just like, every single switch in detail when they go into the cockpit to the amazing shots over the waterfalls, and it's just like
get a good seat. Go ahead, get a good seat if you can.
Enjoy it. It's probably one of the best action movies I've seen in a decade, and this includes comic book movies. I mean, I just thoroughly enjoyed. And it was all about the grounding of the stunts for me. It was just everything felt like, this could be real and this could be happening. It's not so outlandish. You're not somebody hiding behind a CGI character or a stunt jumping in. It's the real characters doing it. And it first clicks with the big fight in the bathroom. It just was so hard hitting. And when Henry Cavill throws him through the mirror, I'm just like, that had to have, because that stunt driver, or the stunt right through.
I know. There's a lot of great stunts.
So that's my thoughts on Mission Impossible.
I will say that the I don't like action movies girl next to me, Kendra, was she really enjoyed 3. Actually told her boyfriend today on the phone, I'm really becoming an 80s, 90s Tom Cruise. I'm crushing on him pretty. He's like, I can't get past Scientology. She's like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the movies. But the actor itself. But she had a great time. And she hates like James Bond. She hates Daniel Craig. She hates all that stuff.
That's hard.
I can't even talk about it with her. It's okay. But she loved it. She had a great time.
My daughter was giggles and smiles the whole time. She was just like, and I was listening to the music on the way home, and she's like, this is from that scene. This is from the motorcycle scene. I love that scene. I'm just like, and that was all her. She tapped into it herself.
She's your daughter.
She brought that in.
Isn't that cool?
Where does this stand for the series? I think this series needs to end. I think I don't think you can get a higher finish. It answered what happened to his wife.
Yep.
He finished his job, and she said that the one thing at the end of like, I know wherever you'll be, I'll be safe.
Yep.
And so like you don't have to keep like wondering about like where the hell he's going to be, and is she always going to be in his head? It's like
she's not with him.
We are where we are supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think was the quote. So
I think they just stop.
I think 6 is the perfect spot, and he's not getting any younger. He's going to still keep doing crazy things.
Unfortunately, some of them.
But at the same time, I just don't see how you can make a better Mission Impossible movie. You can't replace him as an actor in this. You can't. 22 years is a long time to be a single character. I don't think anybody could step into his film and
I mean, I feel like
do it with what he's done because of how he has approached the stunts. There won't be another actor that'll do the stunts to the level he's done them.
I'm wondering how much he had to do with the stunt work and the ideas he had.
I'm sure Tom has control over most of the films he's in. So
McQuarrie, is that how you say his name?
Christopher McQuarrie, yeah.
Yeah, I know he did Usual Suspects. I did like Live, Die, Repeat.
He also did Edge of Tomorrow. Day of Tomorrow.
Unfortunately, he also did The Mummy.
That was the Live, Die, Repeat one.
The screenplay for that, and that was really bad. Really, really bad.
Was it his fault?
Who directed it, though?
He also, hold on to your seats, kids. He also did The Tourist. He wrote The Tourist.
Sometimes people get stuck in ruts. Sometimes writers get stuck by actors. And
but he wrote Valkyrie.
That wasn't a good movie. That was not.
Yeah.
I tried to like it.
I'd say just based on these 2 Mission Impossible movies that he directed, though, that's where his money, that's his gold spot right there, is those type of movies. And he also did Jack Reacher, so he's worked with Tom Cruise before.
He's Tom Cruise's go-to writer. So
I didn't like. I can't even believe he did The Mummy. I can't even believe that he sat in the movie theater, watched it, and decided, yeah, that should go out.
I think he just needed to. I think Tom has something to do with that. I think that's another Tom vehicle. Tom said, "Here, I have the rights to this. Please."
Did you see it?
No, my dad.
It's absolutely
did.
awful.
Watch it. I'm like, I'm gonna leave now. You can watch it.
It's awful.
Trailer didn't excite
Sorry.
me.
Anyway.
I want to note that the film score was. I listened to it once beforehand,
oh my gosh.
and I was kind of like, I wasn't getting it. After I watched it, I've been listening to it for the last 2-3 days. And I must say, it is actually a really damn good score.
Okay,
it is very. It's got that very 80s vibe of. Do you remember The Firm with the piano, the driving piano, and
yes.
the percussion? But he's brought that in.
The percussion. I'm a percussionist. I played drums for 8 years, something. Not anymore, kids. But anyway, but I always listen for that, and I always hear it. He used percussion so much in this movie, and it was fantastic. And I kept leaning over, listen to that.
It's a good way to drive a film, and it drives the music.
There's no music. Sometimes it was just drums.
Yeah. And one of my favorite pieces that I've been listening to is actually, there's 2. So there's the first one in there. Did I see this is by Lorne Balfe, who's done several other movies as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. Was the No Hard Feelings as a nice piano and percussion piece. And then there's The Exchange. And I keep listening to The Exchange because it reminds me of one of the pieces from A Dark Knight. Where the scene where the Joker and they're taking to the streets and they go underneath because they knocked over one of the firefighters and they have to go down and they start the chase of the Joker and they open up the tractor trailer and they start shooting it to where all of a sudden you hear the bump, bump, and then all of a sudden here comes the Bat motorcycle and then it's him capturing Joker on the tie. That is one of my favorite scenes in Dark Knight. It's just so fantastically filmed and the music for that is perfect. And The Exchange feels like it starts out the same way. And it gives you, everybody's familiar with that Mission Impossible theme. That is it. It's what it does in this film is it starts out with this piece of the score is it starts out, you hear it low in the contrabass, like dun, 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 dun. and then it starts bringing it up into the brass, and it just gives you a piece and then backs away. And then you want it more, but it doesn't give it to you. And then it comes back and gives you more of it. And it just keeps building on that tension like the whole time. And that's the same way I felt with that Dark Knight Rises scenes. It just starts, you want Batman to show up. You want him to come save the day. And that's what happens with this. Like, something's going on here. Ethan Hunt, and it just, when you get that final resolution at the end, you just feel.
Did Friction have words? Did Imagine Dragons sing?
What do you mean?
Well, they're on the soundtrack. Imagine Dragons are the only people, or the only band on here, and they did Friction, which I guess
that was the one that, if you saw the trailer, that's the one during the trailer.
They also did it over the credits, I guess. So
I don't remember it.
So I didn't notice that song over the rest of it. It was kind of interesting.
I thought it was a perfect choice of a piece of music for the trailer because they just did it perfect with the Henry Cavill's punches that he does. And
that lock that you're talking about.
So
that's Mission Impossible 6.
There you go. Are you going to go?
Soon.
Are you going to read it first?
No.
Okay. I was wondering how it would be read.
Some action films read well when you're a good writer, and some read terrible. But
when you're a good writer, so probably shouldn't read this one.
Shane Black writes really good action.
Just kidding.
So
that was really bad. Yeah. I did enjoy it,
though. Okay. Well, we are going to go right into the Wes Anderson stuff tonight. We're going to skip the ad break, but we're going to let her recommend whatever book she wants to recommend.
I have 2.
Okay. Which are they?
So then I'm
only doing this because we're like an hour and 50 in already.
You're kidding. Okay, so sorry, people. So listening on Audible, I just started Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. And you can get your Audible trial. So go audibletrial.com/culturalstew and go there, download it, go get your free 30 days, go get a book. I'm listening to Kindred, actually, and I was listening to Stories I Tell My Friends by Rob Lowe, which, believe it or not, is...
The Rob Lowe?
The Rob Lowe. He's fantastic. I had to convince her that he was a good writer and that he was a good... even though he's fictitious, by showing him that he was smart, even though it's fictitious, by showing her that he was on The West Wing. So I had her start watching West Wing episodes.
Nice.
So that she could see him aside from...
The comedy Rob Lowe from...
No. She's only seen like St. Elmo's Fire, where he's kind of a douchebag. Not kind of. He's a douchebag. And so she's like, seriously, Rob Lowe. He is really a great writer. They're great stories he tells. He has that. And he has another book too. Love Stories or Love... Love Stories, I think, or something. But those are the 2 that I have been listening to on Audible, which, again, please go to audible.com/culturalstew.
Audibletrial.com.
Damn it.
/culturalstew.
She almost had it.
Damn it.
Almost.
What is my problem?
She'll get it.
Audible Trial. I'm
Episode
reading
because
it's that trial. We're so used to saying audible.com.
Oh my gosh.
It's just that trial.
Seriously, people. Audibletrial.com.
Audible, if you ever listen to this, please get rid of the trial and just make it audible.com/trial/culturalstew.
No, don't /trial. Audibletrial.
Or trial.audible.com/culturalstew would be.
Yeah, go get it. Go get it.
Awesome. Well, today's director series brings us to Wes Anderson. Tell us about Wes Anderson.
Let's see. He's one of Marty Scorsese's favorite directors. Marty has been pushing him since Bottle Rocket when it first came out. Marty saw Bottle Rocket in a film festival in Texas and also New York and said, this kid has something. This kid will be the next me. And he's been secretly behind the scenes weaving into his life and helping him out a lot. We can thank Wes Anderson for bringing Bill Murray back because Bill Murray was kind of in obscurity in the 90s, and then he did Rushmore, and boom, we have Bill Murray again.
Every single Wes Anderson film Bill Murray has done except for Bottle Rocket. Right. That was impressive.
Bottle Rocket is his first film, so he just had the Wilson brothers and I think Harvey Keitel's in it. I'm not sure. Keitel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just a lot of his friends and shot around Texas. You can little baby Wes. And
It's got to be the only. I think that's the only one besides the shorts I haven't seen was Bottle Rocket.
Right.
Because the first one that I got introduced to was Rushmore.
Well, Bottle Rocket is shot more of like a normal movie.
Indie style.
If you want to say
16 mil.
like, and the only way you could probably tell that it was Wes Anderson is by dialogue, maybe.
Right.
Dialogue and by layered action. But yeah, I saw Bottle Rocket years and years ago. But yeah, it definitely looks different. But it introduces his characters, and his dialogue is, I don't know, I like it, and it introduces the fact that he has young people, children, I guess, acting like adults, and adults acting like kids, and that is in almost every single film. You've got these children that are mature brainiacs, and then the parents or the older people are complete nuts, which does work in Isle of Dogs as well.
So let's go through some of his films. We got Rushmore.
1998. Correct.
Which I have not seen.
Jason Schwartzman.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Bill Murray's in that.
Was it Reese? No, who was the female in that? Was it Reese Witherspoon?
Reese was not in that, no.
I haven't seen that movie, actually. No. Rushmore.
Rushmore was on Netflix at the time. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to look this up really quickly.
My favorite. I mean, are we going through them in order?
Yes.
Okay. So then we have, he'll get Rushmore for us. We have Royal Tenenbaums, which I watched today for the second time, which I enjoy very much. And again, we have the children. His mother in real life actually was an archaeologist, and that is what the mother is in here.
Olivia Williams was the female lead in Rushmore.
There you go.
Rosemary Cross.
So we have the Royal Tenenbaums. My goodness. The other thing about him that I love, him being Wes, he loves Paul McCartney, and he loves Wings. He loves that music. He starts out the Royal Tenenbaums with Hey Jude, and then he moves into his Simon and Garfunkel. He also plays things like the Charlie Brown tunes to get certain things. I just love the music he plays, but a lot of it, I mean, he does bring Paul McCartney out a lot.
A lot of it is time appropriate. Like I think the Royal Tenenbaums was set in a timeless era, but the music kind of lets you feel like it's in the 80s or so. Kind of like what's it called? Inside Llewyn Davis. That kind of time period, that kind of feel to it. I'm not sure if they had the same cinematographer or not, but they feel
they all do.
Well, and that's the thing. By the time you get to Royal Tenenbaums, he's now had Robert Yeoman. This is his third film, and you can see the two of them have now settled into a style that is a very Wes Anderson style look to what he does. Like you can you can probably see a single shot from a film and know it's a Wes Anderson film, and it's something about that you stick with your cinematographer because he sees your vision.
That's right.
And he had him on Bottle Rocket, and he stuck with him all the way through.
He has the long shots, the colors, which are they're
like a pastel.
They're like it's not muted. Yellow, it's mustard.
Yeah, it's
salmon. It's but the red is red, and the it's like candy apple red. And then you have when I went to see probably my favorite. I don't know why. Probably just because of the experience I had in the movie theater. Is of course now it's like the Budapest Hotel.
The Grand Budapest Hotel.
The Grand Budapest Hotel, and I kept leaning over. Look at that shot. Look at that shot. Look at and everything. It's just so beautifully staged and everything is. I mean, he has symmetrical. He's always very symmetrical. He always has these long shots, and he always has his close-ups, even with people that are in.
Oh, and perfect movement and placement of actors as they're coming in and out of shots and setting up a shot.
He is.
Auteur.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think my favorite shot he always does is the slow-mo shot. Like, I mean, Bill Murray even did it where he visited a high school and the kid said, "We don't want your autograph. We just want to walk. We want to do a slow-mo shot with you." So the guy got his camera, and then his friends with Bill Murray in the center just walked down the hallway in slow motion on purpose, and that was deliberate. But
his dialogue, where he has deadpan stuff to deliver hilarious lines, funny delivery for serious lines.
So let's talk about some of the people that he's worked with. He's worked with the Wilson brothers, Luke, Owen, and Andrew.
Right.
Bill Murray, like we've mentioned. He's also had William Dafoe and Jason Schwartzman, Ed Norton. And then you talk about the witty dialogue. You got the Owen Wilson, I think, wrote 3 of his movies, and Noah Baumbach.
He did the Royal Tenenbaums.
Royal Tenenbaums, yeah. So it's interesting that, you've got a person like Owen Wilson was actually, he's a comedy
Gwyneth
guy.
Paltrow, too.
She came on during Royal Tenenbaums that hasn't left. Yeah. And Angela Houston, same thing with.
Angela Houston.
Where did she start? I think she started in Tenenbaums too. Yeah.
And then on the composing side,
Danny Glover, too.
Desplat.
Or maybe you
the
said
Splat and Mark Mothersbaugh.
Maybe you said Danny Glover already.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. He definitely, it's kind of like, what's the Christopher Guest troupe where he always kind of keeps the same.
I kind of dig that.
Yeah, you like, and it works. You keep bringing back these people that you work well with, and you kind of develop a shorthand in movie making. Like, they know you, they know your calls, and you can make a movie quicker, faster, and more efficiently.
Right.
And they know what they're going to get out of you.
Right.
And it works. It's a nice two-way street.
He has lots of things where somebody's always obsessed with something. Like he has these strange obsessions where in Bottle Rocket, Owen Wilson's character is obsessed with high school. Steve Zissou is obsessed with aquatic life. Mr. Fox is that George Clooney?
Yes, it is.
Correct. So, being abandoned, I have not seen.
You have not seen?
I've not seen The Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I'll let you borrow it.
Which can just try and kill me because I kind of fibbed. Anyway, and Francis's obsession with the vacation for him and his brothers in
Darjeeling Limited.
Thank you.
That's my favorite.
And then Gustav H. running the hotel and the Scoutmaster Ward being a khaki scout and Kaz being obsession with safety.
And then the kid trying to find Spot.
Yeah. I mean,
at all costs.
At all costs. So it's just like these strange obsessions, but that's what makes the movie. I don't know. His mind is pretty damn cool.
Roy always trying to get his family back together.
Plus, also, the violence in his movies. The Isle of Dogs. I just thought it was hilarious. It kind of looked like, it did look like Charlie Brown, like kind of.
Well, yeah, he introduced this, like his first stop motion animation was Fantastic Mr. Fox in 2009. And so here we are almost 10 years later. And this is not an easy process, stop motion animation. I mean, that's freaking,
Did he have any violence in that movie?
Yeah.
In Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Tail got bitten.
I think. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I think there was.
He normally tries to make them
comical.
Like, comical. And they're not made to look cool. They're like made to look funny. Mm-hmm. Which I like. Because he's not. Yes, they're violent, but they're not. It's like he's making fun of violence.
Well, they happen so quickly. I mean, even in the scene in Darjeeling when the kid's drowning, they're all in the water drowning and whatnot. You see they need our help, and then you jump cut, and they're in the water already rescuing people, and then they're back on shore. So he doesn't linger on things too much. He just speeds them along, which I guess I appreciate because why do we need to see them taking their shirts off and jumping in? Just
For me, my favorite has been Grand Budapest Hotel.
It's beautiful.
It was beautiful. I thought it was well made, and I think it was the first Best Director nom.
I think so
for him.
I think
and that's
so.
crazy.
I know.
He's got a couple of writing ones, but yeah.
I know.
And yours, you said Jarling.
Jarling, yeah. I mean, he said it's a different country. He did all that in a different country.
I like that a lot.
And the dialogue is just on point for me. Like, I like his dialogue a lot, but it's just, they're so matter of fact and so,
and his imagery, too.
Yeah.
Of, like, he's trying to get his brothers to go on this trip, and they have all this baggage. Like, they're carrying their bags, and they're trying to get the train, right? But at the end, sorry, I'm getting all
that is fine.
Emotional about it. They're trying to get the train, and they just let go of all their baggage and to get the train. And it's just like this nice little imagery of them letting go of all the baggage.
I felt Darjeeling was more literary than most of his other works. I mean, Royal was framed as a book, but I felt Darjeeling was more novel and literary.
It's interesting because Royal Tenenbaums kept showing a book.
You have Alec Baldwin narrating that too, which is funny and amusing. But
Alec Baldwin narrated Tenenbaums too.
No,
Are you talking about?
Yeah, narrated
Tenenbaums. Sorry.
No.
I get excited. I like it, but I took my mom and my sister. Where do we have a list of the movies to go see? Oh, guys, where is it?
Moonrise.
It's the one where they are in the wilderness.
Moonrise Kingdom.
Moonrise. I took them to see Moonrise Kingdom. My mom and my sister and Kendra. Wow.
It wasn't a bad movie. It just felt
that
really...
that is just so like Wes Anderson, right? And Kendra enjoyed it, and my mom and my sister were like, "What in the hell?"
Kookiness to his films.
Really kooky. They're like, "Why in the hell are we here?" Yeah. They did not enjoy that. I don't think they like Life Aquatic. They didn't even like Grand Budapest Hotel. I'm related to these people, but Kendra loved it.
I appreciate Budapest Hotel for what it is, but it wasn't my favorite. I just felt like.
Do you think it was too mainstream?
No, I mean it was very artistic. It was very good. It was just I didn't. Dialogue and story-wise, I liked it, but I just felt like I was watching more art direction and production design than anything else.
I understand that.
So
I get that. It was gorgeously framed. Yeah. Everything I kept noticing did happen not to be about the dialogue. It was more about the way it looked.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my favorite scene in that film is when the whole punching match where, William Dafoe knocks out everyone. It's just, I have a weird sense of humor. But yeah, it's just...
I always say you're either Wes Anderson person or you're not.
I agree with that.
Well, and that brings us 4 years after Grand Budapest, his first film in 4 years, Isle of Dogs.
Right. Which...
Go for it. Say it.
So, watched it. I did not go see it in the movie theater, which means something because I normally go see this stuff.
It was here for like a week. It was at the Little. It came several weeks later than normal.
Yeah.
Let me just piss off like 3/4 of our listeners. I'm not a huge... I know it's not cartoon. I know it's stop animation. I understand that. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't know why. Just not. And so we watched it. Me and Kendra and I watched it. And it was watchable. I did watch the whole thing. I thought, I don't know, like I was just sitting there having a movie wash over me. I did not have any feelings.
Yeah,
Kendra did because she freaked out about the dogs and she thought the dogs had gotten completely squished and mauled and we're in there in that.
When they went in the incinerator,
she could not get over. She could not get over it. No, you're kidding me! Oh my god, she totally
when
freaked
that
out.
happened. I was just like, wait, did they just
die?
Pass over the fact that they went into an incinerator and just continue the damn movie?
I rewind it. I had to rewind it. I was like, seriously?
Well, it just went by, and I'm just like,
oh my god,
did they just do what I
She was really
and then when they come back, they're like, oh,
that would work. We'll all be dead.
Anybody who wants to vote him out of the club? It had its moments. I give it that. I
like the politeness.
Yeah.
He also does this thing about politeness. They get in, they're about to have a huge fight, and then all at once they decide, maybe we should rethink this. Let's talk about this for a second. Instead of dogs, instead of just dogs just fighting, they stop and let's discuss this for a moment.
It was like, wait. Let's vote on this.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is...
And then Jeff Goldblum's... Did you hear the one about...
Jeff Goldblum's voice. Jeff Goldblum is just Jeff Goldblum. I mean, it's like it's the other actors. Sometimes I'm like, who is that?
Well, Brian is too. Brian is the same way. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, Brian.
Not for me.
Brian
not for me.
is.
He's not for me. I can hear him and not know who he is.
Voice.
The thing is, though, like with Brian's voice, voice feels like he's acting. Yeah. Jeff Goldblum just sounds like he's telling a story. No matter how he's talking,
he sounds exactly like he does in The Big Chill.
Yeah,
exactly.
But he's like he's telling a story,
and he's a nerd.
For instance, I felt like I was getting something out of this character. And the same thing, I didn't get anything major out of the movie other than an appreciation for the art skill because it's an animation movie. It's stop animation. I have a lot of respect for the amount of work that you have to take a single shot of every single thing that you see.
I will say it was beautiful. The colors were gorgeous. Even the gray that he used, the gray for the field. I am interrupting you.
I mean, no. I've just always had a profound respect. You know, back to the Harryhausen what was it? Odyssey.
I'll come to you.
It's the one with the owl.
I know you're talking about
the metal owl. Yeah. And the clay monster. It was from the 70s and 80s, but it was Ray Harryhausen, who was the main dude who did all the stop animation for all of Hollywood. So, you know, like going back to you had King Kong on a building, you know, those kind of things are all stop animation, and you've had Tim Burton and
Corpse Bride and Halloween.
These are the main two: Tim Burton and the guy behind Wallace and Gromit. Man, I am just blanking tonight. For those listening at home, we're doing this in the evening, so we're not as fresh as we are in the afternoon.
Well, we're never fresh.
Well, I'm going to say, Grace and I watched Fantastic Mr. Fox, and I appreciate all the effort that went into that too, because I heard
for the director, Nick Park.
Nick Park, thank you.
Okay.
They Wes had them record their audio, their dialogue in the real environment. So when they're in a tube in the film, Mr. Fox, they were in a real tube recording, so you get the real echo, and not post echo, but real reverberation of being in a tube. They were in the field, rolling around doing stuff too, which was nice. So now fast forward to Wild Dogs, which I think my wife enjoyed that more than Mr. Fox. I mean, I enjoyed it more too. Mr. Fox felt a little long to me. Like, it felt like it just kept going and going. It could have ended 9 times, and it just didn't do anything for me. I appreciate the style that was involved in it. It didn't keep my attention. Isle Dogs, actually, I felt had more heart to it, more story, and it had a couple of laugh out loud moments. Again, the characters bickering with each other, their whole asides, Chiefs, the whole thing, and everything felt like he learned more from Fox and said, I see what worked here, what didn't work, and then he brought it to Isle Dogs, and and Grace doesn't like stop-up motion or cartoons, so this was a big step for her to even watch something else like this.
Yeah, I didn't really either. One thing about having a niece who's 20 years younger is that she does bring things to my attention that I would never have watched. This movie is also stop animation. Mary and Max.
Yes, I saw that. That's a great film.
Director Adam Elliott. Now, this is not a happy movie.
No.
I would say don't watch it if you're feeling down. But Mary and Max has stayed with me ever since I saw it one time, and the story has stayed with me.
Tell them who's in the film.
I'm sorry?
Tell them who's in the film, who's the voices.
Who's the voices are?
Yes.
Okay, well, one moment, because I don't know.
So, as she's looking that up, like I said, I highly respect the stop motion animation format, and I will probably always watch anything that's stop motion because I respect it as a person who creates films. There's so much time going into it, but from a story perspective, I just got nothing from the film.
Me too.
And I don't know if it's because I think Wes Anderson's style of when he has live action people and how they interact with the people doesn't translate into that. So I don't know if the way he approaches whatever story he wants to tell, because I didn't get it out of Fantastic Fox either.
Okay.
Or maybe I felt like it was over my head. I felt like, okay, he's trying to have some type of political message, and then I'm missing it.
Fox was just too long for me. That's why I didn't really enjoy it. But Outdogs felt more straightforward. But even then Grace said that the Japanese coming in and out took her out of it at points because she said, wait, we're speaking Japanese now. And then we're going back to the dog's English.
But they said that they were going to do that.
Well, I know, but she still said it took her, she doesn't like animation all that much. But she said it was jarring, the language duality. But I mention what I'm doing. So.
I'm just going to quickly say, are we on?
Yep.
Okay. Rochester, Marion Max has Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Thank you.
There we go. So Toni Collette, Eric Bana.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Good film.
So if you're a fan of stop motion animation, see the film. If you're a fan of Wes Anderson films, see the film. Mm-hmm. Don't expect a full-on Wes Anderson film. I think that would be our general consensus.
Yeah.
I would say Rainy Day, personally.
What?
Rainy Day, personally. Like, it's not something I'd rush out to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I think how we all watched it, right? It's rental right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So. Amazon.
Okay.
Right. Cool. Our next show should be August 13th.
Yep.
And
so my topic choice is, does theater always have to be on? And what I mean by that is, why does theater always have to be something that people use as a vehicle? Why does it always have to be topical? Why can't we be entertained? The more and more I read plays and the more I see theater, it always has a message behind it, which is not a bad thing, but why can't we be entertained? Why can't we just have a feel good? Like, movies can be entertaining and they can be just blah and just ha-ha.
Wow.
But theater...
That's going to lead down the rabbit hole of how theater came to be.
Oh, I know. I'm ready for that. I had the history all in my head. It's all here. I'm going to hash it out.
Yeah.
But I want to know, why can't theater be entertaining? And not like Mean Girls entertaining, because that was not entertaining. I mean, like...
We'd have musicals as well.
Musicals and
You mean
plays,
like, why can't it be like SpongeBob SquarePants?
but be good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like, even Rent has a message behind it.
I actually heard that SpongeBob SquarePants was really good.
Well, the music.
There's some people that have seen David Runzo really loved it.
I'll read the libretto.
So.
But I just want to know, can we have theater that can be feel good and happy and a good time, but not have a message behind it? Because films do it all the time. So why does theater have to be more serious? So that's my question. Why does theater have to be more serious? Why can film be campy and goofy and weird and sometimes make a pass and it's good, but theater has to carry that weight of...
Is it possible that... Okay, sorry, we'll talk about it later.
Speaking of theater, as we're touching that real quick, did you see the behind the scenes of the Titanic musical that's going on? Is it Maine? Boston?
Did not.
They actually built a set and they're doing it in water. It's see this. So last year, this group did Miss Saigon with an actual helicopter. And so they do outdoor productions and they do them all with a theme. So this year's theme was water, and they chose Titanic, and they built this huge frame assembly. And these people are jumping off and they're doing the whole sinking of it, full on singing during Titanic. It's bizarre as hell.
My friend Sarah Carson is going to go in.
I got it.
There is it's on. I think Playbill did the behind the scenes, and then they just posted here's like some of the like the trailer footage, or not the trailer footage, but here's the best of type footage. And the guy who did the set design is one of the guys that is a pretty much regular over at Jiva.
Okay.
So it was kind of a nice little Rochester connection, but it was just like, if you're into theater and theater design at all, you need to check this out, because it's just so weird hearing people singing the songs, and the whole time they're sinking underwater as they're trying to sing.
Wow.
And they're falling off of these rafters. I'm like, that would be such a bizarre theater experience.
And I thought I was crazy because I wanted to do Romeo and Juliet in a swimming pool with mermaids. And so that was my dream as a kid.
Oh my God. Moulin Rouge is in Boston right now, and it's killing me not to be able just to go.
You should go see it.
There are some fantastic shots coming out from Matthew Murphy. There was this one that he did with Karen Olivio.
That's going to kill me if I go.
And he shot it through the neon of Moulin Rouge, so it's just the outline of I think it's the R or the O, and then she's in her red dress.
Come on.
And it's fantastic.
It's in Boston right now. I want to take that road trip.
We should go.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I want to talk about. So does theater always have to be, and why does it have so much weight on it? Why can't we just have...
Okay, good. That's interesting.
So, yeah. I like these deep conversations. I'm sorry.
Could medieval times be considered theater?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Sterling Festival is theater, live theater. So.
Can we have Kendra come in here?
Yes, she may. That's why
she wrote in an insane paper.
papers.
I'm going to talk to Jack to see if we can get him here. Might not be able to on a Monday night.
I'm going to send you
a video. The theater's dark on Monday.
I'm going to send you a video.
Jack's not at the theaters. He's got his own business. So.
I know, but
All right. So that wraps up everything from our topic. Let's run through the rest of this and close up the show.
Quickly.
Rin to the Kids Corner.
Oh, Kids Corner. I just threw this in because we just watched it. Secretariat is PG. It's on Netflix August 1st. And it's just it's a great show, and it's a true story, and it's pretty freaking amazing. So that's great that I say freaking during Kids Corner. But Secretariat. That's
Kids, the only section you can listen to is right there.
Yeah, so, but it's PG. Nothing major happens that I feel like would be horrifying. Zoe really dug it. So,
are you talking about the show or Secretariat?
The movie. Shush it. The movie. But it's on, I rented it and I just realized it's going to be on August 1st on Netflix. So go see it on Netflix. Anyway, there you go.
Cool. My score of the week is going to be Mission Impossible Fallout. Go listen to it. Enjoy Cumble numbers. A lot of it is, like I said, it's percussion-y, so a lot of it might sound repetitive, but there are a few numbers that just stand out that are really fun to listen to. And especially just when you hear that brassy Mission Impossible theme just digging through. It's just like, yeah, it just feels good. So that's that. Any other things in the grab bag?
No.
All right, Tony, what's on your queue for this week?
I'm planning on reading and watching A Young Doctor's Notebook. It's on Netflix. It has John Hamm and Daniel Radcliffe. So basically, sum up, is about a doctor in 1917 Russia. My wife's really, for long as I've known her, she's all into Russian history. But it's about a 1917, the whole Russian War, Civil War. A doctor in the countryside who's young, and they make fun of his height because Daniel's short, and how there's flashbacks between his older self talking to his younger self, and it's a lot of weird.
Movie or series?
It's a series. There's two seasons. Sorry, I'm speaking
Daniel
English.
Radcliffe's in it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Produced by Netflix?
Wait a minute.
Or is
Daniel
this produced by
Radcliffe
somebody else?
and
John Hamm.
yeah, I've seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this produced by Netflix or produced by somebody else?
I think the BBC made it and Netflix grabbed it, but yes.
Because man, this doesn't seem like something that
Really?
people that Netflix would have grabbed.
But yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching it and reading the short stories that inspired it and get back to you on it.
Anything else you're doing? What's in your queue?
No, just babysitting and...
Okay. Ron?
Babysitting or being a father?
Ding, ding. Okay. Ron?
So, yeah, like I said, I watched Sorry to Bother You. Go see it. In my queue and currently watching is Castle Rock.
I can't wait.
I'm 2 episodes in.
I hope it's good.
It's just starting to loving it. Orange is the New Black season just started. Season is out. It started on Friday.
Is this fizzling out yet? Or do you still think it's good?
I only watched 1 episode. Haven't been back to watch yet. It's because I'm balanced between that and Castle Rock. And then one more was on my list here. Still going through Cloak and Dagger. I've been catching up that on Hulu. Handmaid's Tale, I still need to catch up now. But it's more of, there's a lot of things in the queue and there's a lot of things to watch right now as the new seasons of stuff start hitting. So
right.
Trying to catch up on 2 seasons of Handmaid's Tale during a busy season is going to be hard.
I understand.
At least Glow is short.
It's going to be very hard to watch as well for you. I went back in time. So now I'm starting to reintroduce or show movies that my niece has not seen. So we watched Jerry Maguire today. She about melted. And then MI3 she enjoyed. I talked about that. We watched that one, World Tenenbaums. In the queue, Christopher Robin, which starts this Friday. The Sinner, I'm not sure about. It's on Netflix. You can look it up. It could be bad. We started Dexter because I just thought she should see it, and I love him. I saw him on Broadway, by the way, as Hedwig, and he was fantastic. And Glow, which I have not seen.
You should watch, what's it called? No, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Magnolia.
I've seen it.
Has she?
Magnolia? I don't know.
You should. It has Tom Cruise in it. So.
Well, I know.
That's intense. Good acting.
But
Tom
yeah,
Cruise.
but Amy Mann in that soundtrack, fantastic.
He wrote the movie based on that, her music. But yeah, you should watch it. It's really, really good. I watched it in high school. So.
Good stuff.
Well, yeah, and as in my radar, there was actually no movies in theaters that are on my list outside of like the ones that I missed for the couple of weeks. The next month is kind of
I did notice that.
dry month.
There's not a lot coming out.
So,
but you have kids. Christopher Robin looks
my kids are at
cute.
camp, and when they're home at night, the last thing they want to do is go out and see a movie. They're so wiped out from day camp.
I know. I'm just saying the weekends. We are campless.
We have no weekends open.
No camps starting in August. So, and then August 10th is my last surgery. So I will be finished with this whole thing. So cancer-free, last surgery, and we're finished. So awesome.
Awesome. Valerie, where can we find you on the social media networks?
I am VP Vidmar on Instagram and on Twitter.
Awesome. Anthony?
I'm all over Facebook, as you all know, and I'm at SMTORCHIO on Twitter.
I'm wrong. I am Penny Lane 64 on
Twitter.
Instagram? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Los Santo.
Technically, there's a Penny Lane 64 account that she has too, but
okay.
she doesn't have access to it.
Two people.
You can find me pretty much everywhere as GFMedia or at GFMedia CEO. You can find us at culturalstew.net, at culturalstewnet on Twitter, and culturalstew on Facebook. And in case you don't listen to the end, we are also always accepting support through Patreon to help us cover some of our monthly costs and help us bring the show to you. And please give us feedback on Facebook. Give us feedback on Twitter. Let us know that you're out there, what you want to talk about, what you like, what you didn't like. Anything, even if you just want to say hi.
And now we have all these great music coming out of Rochester. And so if you want to be on here and put your music on here, let us know.
Yep. All right. Catch you next time. The intro and break music is Please Listen Carefully by Jazir, available through the Creative Commons license from Free Music Archive. The outgoing music is provided by Epidemic Sound. Please see our show notes for details on what the outgoing song is and who it is by. And also, as always, if you have a piece of music that you'd like us to play or consider playing, please contact us today. Like what you've heard? Want to continue to hear more? Please consider Patreon. What is Patreon, you ask? Patreon is a content creator support site, a way for people to support the things they love and allow creators to continue creating the content that they love. Please consider heading over to patreon.com/GFMedia and becoming a Patreon supporter today.